Wait, where's Reed?
Maximum security prison.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, he tried to build a U out of human body parts. He's gross.
Oh no.
We gotta be low key, chat. We gotta be low key.
Hey, I think the low-key part's not playing out well. The polices were around me. I think they're following me!
Ryan, lose them if they're after you.
Lose
They're gonna try and
them
pull you
now.
in.
What did I do? I didn't do anything!
No, it's because you're associated with us.
Get out there and jail. You know, maybe leave the doors unlocked. We'll patch you in on the spot.
Oh, there goes all my dreams.
What's up?
Just follow, shut up, don't say anything.
Hola.
Hello.
I think Ryan's in visitation.
Why?
Don't know. Go fast, go fast.
You are so
Well,
Fucking God.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah?
I'm sorry about the whole Ryan 2.0 thing, but it is all your fault.
No, I think it's your fault.
You know I have abandonment issues. You really know that I do. You know I do, Ryan.
Don't worry, we holding it down.
I can't believe you. I mean, I can. I'm married.
What do you mean you can't believe me? This is totally real. People are calling me
Yeah,
Frankenstein now, Brian. Zach. People are calling me Frankenstein.
Look, I got my Southsider outfit going.
Listen, I just didn't want to be lonely for New Year's. I thought I'd be spending New Year's alone.
I would have been there.
Well, I didn't know that. I just wanted someone to kiss on New Year's.
Oh my God, and Aaron wouldn't do?
No, so I tried to build a new Ryan.
That's not how that works. You can't build me out of Cody Speedwagon parts.
Well, they weren't. I mean, it was Daquan Johnson, Midas Campanetti, Cody Speedwagon, Valentina Hobbs, Thomas White, Samad Man, Timmy Twinkle.
Oh, by the way,
I think there was some more in there.
They did not sound pleased with the whole situation.
Yeah.
I tried to smooth it
It was a whole big thing.
Yeah, but
Billy Boomer.
how many of those people are dead?
2, 3, 2, 3, 2.
And how many
Three.
then did you actually kill?
One.
Which one?
Cody Speedwagon.
That's not true, and you know it.
I mean, it's what's done is done.
Regardless, I had a hand in his murder, okay?
Doesn't matter. If you didn't actually do it, listen, lawyer up! Lawyer up!
Eugene ain't been around. And
You're right.
I
You're right.
haven't
Okay.
been around,
Well,
but
I mean,
the other one,
I have Daquan's head.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Zachary, we
Ryan,
need to go.
I mean, Zachary, I should probably tell you for the past 2 years, when you've been gone, I've been putting my ex-husband's head in the microwave.
Who?
I've been putting Daquan's head in the
Lord.
microwave. I've kept it behind the frozen peas in the freezer for the past 2 years for when you weren't around.
Do you want me to punch him for you, Ryan?
Please.
Okay. Be safe out there.
Is there anything you guys need us to do?
Yes, I need Kat to clear out her fucking trailer.
Can't go up to Sandy.
You realize
Too
how dumb?
hot.
No. You don't understand this. I woke up. I grabbed my GTR. I went on the radio. They said lay low, so I go to Benny's to recolor my GTR.
What
and guess
radio
what?
are you using?
I've got a new frequency. For
Okay, I was
the
gonna
two of
say,
us.
because-
Just us know.
Okay, I was gonna say if they got the files, they probably have all our old
No,
ones.
we've changed frequencies 3 times since then. I'm keeping it fresh. We're always changing it.
All right.
So, they immediately surrounded Benny's, and I was in there for like 20 seconds looking for a color.
All right, guys, you're sticking in 2 places too long. Let's go. Move.
Yeah.
Get going.
Get the
going.
fuck out of here.
We love you. See you later.
Love you.
Later, boy.
Bye.
Love you, Ryan.
Call Han if you need something.
Oh, that was a pleasant surprise.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm happy now. I'm very happy now. I'm happy.
Good.
Happy. He's in his GTR. I can hear it a mile away.
It's risky as fuck. them
GTR
doing it.
Gerald.
They're just gonna spike it. Oh my! I hate him. I hate him. I actually hate him. He's dumb. He's dumb. He's dumb. He's just as dumb as me. We're all as dumb as me. Shut up, Patty.
Ryan, do you want me to let Reed know anything from you?
You can tell him, Reed, Ryan said you're an idiot.
All right, I'll let him know.
Daddy loves you. He's a lovable idiot. He's our idiot.
True, exactly. He's an idiot, but he's our idiot.
Mm.
You have.
Well, I mean, that's what
been-
family's for.
True, but you've been a genuine lifesaver today, man. Like, holy shit, it's been wild, and I'm really happy you're part of our family, even though I feel bad for you because you're married to Reed.
Well, you know, you shouldn't feel sorry for me. I knew what I was getting myself into, let's be honest. Who looks at Reed and goes, that's a good choice?
You're not wrong. I've actually said that multiple times.
I didn't think he was a good choice. I thought he was a fun choice.
Oh, he's a substance choice, alright. I'll tell you that.
Ryan, did you really blame me for this? You fuck.
Yeah.
No, we're all blaming Ryan for this
What
because
made
he
you
wasn't
think
around.
I wasn't going to be there on New
okay,
Year's?
hold on. I hadn't gone over the full game plan yet. We're putting
Listen.
most of it, so we're shoveling the blame onto Ryan, and then we're
Oh,
shoveling
yeah.
the blame
Captain
off of
Zero is
Ryan
blank.
onto Reed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the
Because-
train
Wait
will.
a minute,
Hold
wait a
on,
minute,
Ryan.
hold
Yeah,
on.
this train is
Right.
gonna hit Ryan first, slow down, and then hit Reed. Okay?
Right, it
But wait
worked
a
out pretty
minute.
well. I
This
made a
is-
human being in
Nice,
my
guys.
bathtub so I
Nice.
wouldn't be alone on New Year's and get a kiss from my new Ryan, and it ended up with you getting arrested on New Year's, so I got to kiss you. So I got to kiss real nut Ryan on New Year's.
All right, Reed. I'm very interested. What was this I heard about a plan of like if things go well, putting it in the microwave?
Oh, depending on whether or not I felt the spark after the New Year's kiss, I was gonna microwave the intestines.
Just
Oh,
so you know,
okay,
his
okay.
microwave is broken and he wanted to use mine.
Okay, so like the old college watermelon trick then.
Yeah.
Yeah, heat
Gotcha,
them up and then
okay.
get up in those guts.
Got you. Okay. All right. Now that we have everyone standing in a circle, unless anyone feels the overwhelming
hey, bro.
desire to, no one will be testifying today.
Oh, I want to
Beautiful.
testify.
No,
that
no.
is definitely not happening.
You're not testifying.
You want to bet?
That shit.
Yes, our lawyers say fucking shut up. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
You
shut the fuck up.
Did you look at the evidence of the case? We're
Hey,
fucked.
Reed, remember when you were worried about that mayhem
believe in
vote? Well,
Patty.
it could become a reality if you
Oh,
want.
boo-hoo. I'm about to get life in prison and then the death penalty. Like I fucking care.
What do you
Yeah,
mean
well,
I
I'm not
care?
fucking going with you. I want to get the fuck out of here.
I'll kill you
Oh.
before you get the death penalty, asshole.
What do you mean, Patty? You're the fucking mastermind behind all this.
Yeah,
No,
Patty.
that's fucking Ryan. I've already got my story worked out.
I agree. Patty was.
I
Hey,
never
what's up,
did
Ryan?
anything.
I know you didn't.
So what's I'm supposed to do?
As far as I can tell, Ryan, the only reason you are here is because back when the club was coming up with their fun little runic symbols that everyone was engraving into the pommels of their firearms, you picked one of those by the looks of it.
Oh yeah, circle. Cause I'm a circlandy. I
Yeah.
drive cars in circles.
Yeah, that is the only piece of evidence against you.
Oh.
So I do not anticipate anything. I filed a motion for a directed verdict. I basically asked the court to find you not guilty. You were never raided. You were never questioned. Your phone was never searched. Nothing was ever found in relation to you. Even their biggest piece of evidence that shows like firearms with those symbols on them, they don't
I'm
have
not sure,
any
please.
with your symbol on it. There's no evidence for you, Ryan.
Ah.
But the prosecution is insistent of the fact that you are guilty by association, so you're here today.
Ah.
Yeah. So.
So who
you know,
tells them we didn't do it?
that's me. I tell them that you all didn't do it.
Oh,
Your Honor, Rudy's just trying to sort
so as long as
his
a,
tongue.
so I don't have to go up and speak.
No, we don't.
Well, if you want me to, I'm willing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be lying. I never made a gun.
Yeah, but my concern
fucking
is
press guys don't believe me
that
when I
you
say
know,
leave
if
him
I
in
go up,
space.
if I ask you if you ever made a firearm, if you ever used one of those molds or anything like that, next thing you know, the prosecution's gonna be asking you, well, what about your husband? Did he ever use one of those molds? What
I might
about
get
so and
handcuffed
so?
for the trial. Just heads up. I just punched Siggy. It's my last act of freedom.
It's just Ziggy. It's fine.
Okay, you're right. He is ugly.
I've got handcuffs on me. We'll unhandcuff you,
calling
Reed.
it
It'll
how
be
it is,
fine.
Your
No one
Honor.
will notice. There's 16 of you.
Also, Ryan,
All right.
I can't help but feel like you're giving me the cold
You
shoulder.
talking to me?
I'm not giving you the cold shoulder. What do you mean?
Want to come and get a whiff?
Okay.
All right, it's time.
Let's go.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this court in session at this time. Today, what we're here for is the People versus the Lost MC et al. I will go over the statement of charges. The statement of charges are listed as for at least the last 4 months, the defendant named above, and I will go through each defendant and read their charges before we start. All of whom are affiliated with a motorcycle club named the Lost MC, have been engaging in the manufacture and distribution of heavy pistols. In the past 4 months, officers have been noticing an influx of heavy pistols spreading throughout the city. Upon searching the clubhouse of the Lost MC, they discovered a work table used to manufacture weapons, as well as various logs and documents that detailed the process of creation and sale, and link these weapons to the defendants listed above. After the initial group was apprehended, a second group was picked up at the smeltery, attempting to destroy a large amount of Class II weaponry, as well as a half dozen heavy pistols. Following charges.
Oh, no.
To the defendant, Rudy Rinson, he is accused of weapons trafficking ×1. As for Catherine Scratch, she has been, she was deemed not to fit to stand trial. She will not be standing trial at this time today. Reed Dankleaf, weapons trafficking ×1. Holden Malou, weapons trafficking ×1. Gary Adams, weapons trafficking ×1. Taryn Raid, weapons trafficking ×1. Patty Patrickson, weapons trafficking ×1. Cherry Devine, weapons trafficking ×1. Gaz Malou, weapons trafficking ×1. Ryan Parker, weapons trafficking ×1. Lucille Hellman, weapons trafficking ×1. Al Weaselton, weapons trafficking ×1. Jason Paul is accused of weapons trafficking ×1, witness tampering ×1, attempted murder of a government employee ×1, criminal possession of a Class II firearm ×23, criminal possession of a firearm Class 1 ×6. Wade Wilson is accused of weapons trafficking ×1, witness tampering ×1, attempted murder of a government employee ×1, criminal possession of a firearm Class 2 ×23. Criminal possession of a firearm Class 1
Oh my god. Fucking they let you out on bail?
Kia Moore,
Yeah.
if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I do apologize. Weapons trafficking ×1, witness tampering ×1, attempted murder of a government employee ×1, criminal possession of a firearm Class 2 ×23, criminal possession of a firearm Class 1 ×6.
Yeah.
Dale Murphy is accused of weapons trafficking ×1, witness tampering ×1, attempted murder of a government employee ×1, criminal possession of a firearm Class 2 ×23, criminal possession of a firearm Class 1 ×6. Egregious nature of the primary offense. All right. At this time, are both the prosecution and defense prepared to give their cases to the court?
Damn, we going back, ain't we?
All right, I will start with the opening for the prosecution. You may begin.
There are many crimes that occur in our fair city, Los Llanos. In the past 3 months, there have been incidents involving kidnapping and violating the bodily integrity of a civilian by forcing them to undergo a makeover and take drugs at gunpoint. Officers being kidnapped, individuals firing on officers to aid in the escape of wanted criminals, the robbery of a 24/7, which ended with gunfire, multiple jewelry store robberies, one of which culminated in the murder of a hostage, multiple robberies of the city vault, one of
Oh, that
which
was
ended with an
Napoleon.
officer being kidnapped and shot, multiple shootouts with officers in attempts to free criminals from prison transports, the theft of an armored money transport and subsequent firefight with LSPD, and gang wars that were enabled by guns illegally that were tear apart the city and force officer intervention as demonstrated in People's DDD. All of these crimes were enabled by guns illegally manufactured and distributed by the defendants. For the last few months, marked guns have begun to appear throughout the city. These marks are identical to those that appear in People's CCC. All of these marks are tied back to individuals who were at the time either patched-in members of the Lost MC or married to those who are. Upon a raid of their clubhouse, equipment and materials for the manufacture of heavy pistols were found, as well as documentation that include entries such as weapons sold and meeting minutes that mention gun orders, middlemen, and the possession of weapons templates. Later the same day of the raid, Wade, Kia, Jason, and Dale were caught red-handed attempting to destroy weaponry, evidence that could have been produced before this court, some of which was marked with those same symbols. In addition, as far back as October, we have a documented incident of the Lost MC being involved in an operation to import weaponry into the city, as well as engaging in a direct sale with undercover officers. We will show today that these facts combine to show that the Lost MC as a whole, and the defendants in particular, Rudy Renson, Reed Dankleaf, Holden Malou, Gary Adams, Taryn Reid, Patty Patrickson, Cherry Devine, Gaz Malou, Lucille Hellman, Al Weaselton, Jason Paul, Wade Wilson, Ryan Parker, Kia Moore, and Dale Murphy have all been involved in the ongoing manufacture and distribution of weaponry and should therefore be found guilty of weapons trafficking.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Body parts.
Okay.
Body parts.
No, it's a good show.
Shit. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen of the court. But body parts, my spare body parts, you know, I keep in my refrigerator, in a freezer in my garage, you know, in some sort of morgue, vault, someplace where they keep. I don't really keep too many pancreases in my tax returns or my business receipts or my ledger.
Is this the wrong case?
At the heart of this
He's
case,
perfect. He's proving that they shouldn't
somehow,
have done the clubhouse because
is body
it was
parts.
for the body parts.
Law
This is fucking
enforcement
genius.
officers executing a warrant, looking for some spare body parts or some shit,
Believe it or not,
decided to go looking for them.
Yeah, they had already found
in
all
a
the body
ledger,
parts.
in a
you
file
don't know anything
cabinet,
about the defense, do you?
in
So shut
some
up and trust me, we've got a
workbench,
Wait, am I the hero?
and
I
have
hate that.
come up with some half-cocked theory linking my client's social club with every gun transaction in this city for what, the past 4 months. And you know, the irony here is that there's actually more exhibits in the prosecution's case than there are guns. There's more extraneous, pointless exhibits in the state's evidence than there are guns. The greater irony is that law enforcement and the prosecution are making a very admirable effort to obfuscate their own habitual laziness with a literal mountain of paperwork, which has been dumped on the defense with short notice to pour through for anything even approaching a tenuous link between my clients and these massive charges being weighed against them by the people. So The burden of proof here is not on me. It's not on Mr. Crane. And it's not on any of the 16 co-defendants. Burden of proof is on the prosecution. And I challenge the prosecution to use every piece of evidence submitted into the record today to find some way to convict any of my clients of trafficking as defined under the penal code. And any evidence not used ought to be thrown out from consideration, because me and my co-counsel have been awake day and night for the past 2 days since we received all this stuff, trying to make sense of why any of this stuff is relevant. And aside from a few things, most of it is not. Most of it just demonstrates that some cops took liberties which were not theirs to make without achieving or requesting further warrants, started rooting around someone's place of business through their personal and business documents without getting any kind of subpoena for records or anything
Holy
beyond
shit.
some body parts warrant that they used to create and manufacture this massive,
This is a really good defense.
unsubstantiated claim against my clients. Burden's on you.
Holy shit, that was great.
I got out of jail.
Is the prosecution prepared to call their first witness?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd like to call Detective Toretti to the stand, please.
All right. Detective Toretti, will you please approach?
Can you state your name and rank for the court, please?
Senior Officer and Detective Dominic Toretti.
Thank you. And were you on duty on the 27th of December?
I was.
Did you respond to a 911 call about individuals with weapons at the smeltery?
Multiple 911 calls regarding this. And yes, I did.
What did you see when you arrived?
There was a black lost van parked outside, another vehicle parked outside. Then saw an individual, I believe in all white, running across the roofs and shooting at police officers.
And after they started firing at officers, what did you do?
We
doing?
asked for some additional police officers to come assist, and we infiltrated the smeltery where the rest of the individuals were in there and downed those individuals.
And were they arrested that day?
They were.
Okay, and do you remember their name?
Yes, it's gonna be JP, Jason Paul, Tia Moore, Wade Wilson, Dale Murphy, and yep.
And what did you find at the scene in the smeltery?
I believe as you can see, if you wanted to look at the report at all, we found copious amounts of guns. Looked like some of them already had been thrown into the smelter, trying to melt them away.
Trifling
multiple types of class 1, class 2 weaponry, all over the place there.
That report is going to be People's A.
Thank you.
All right. And the vehicles that were on the scene, you mentioned there was a black van.
Yes, there was.
Who were those vehicles registered to?
The van was registered to, I believe, Jason Paul.
You said there was a logo on the side of it.
Yes. There's a massive Lost MC logo right on the side of the van.
Thank you.
Had been emptied out.
And on 12/31, were you involved in a chase with Ryan Parker?
I was.
Can you tell us what happened during that chase?
Sure, he was driving his disgustingly ugly chrome GTR, fleeing from police. I raced his speed. He eventually crashed.
Your Honor, I'm actually going to object to relevance as to this point. I don't see how any
You objecting
allegations
to the question, or you objecting to his answer?
to his answer, Your Honor. I guess the question as well. I don't see how any of the content of this narrative as to evasion has anything to do with weapons trafficking.
And your rebuttal, Madam DA?
We're establishing the circumstances under which Mr. Parker was apprehended. The defense did ask us to use every report we'd put into evidence.
Your Honor, if I may briefly.
Sure.
The circumstances under which he was apprehended do not seem to have anything to do with weapons trafficking, Your Honor.
Maybe it's the traffic part.
I'm sorry, you were in traffic. Did you have a weapon?
I'm gonna go ahead and overrule the objection.
My legal one, yeah.
Proceed, Madam DA.
Oh, well, that's weapons.
All right,
and
you
you're
were
in the
telling us about the
trafficking.
chase. Toretti.
Sure. We'd been chasing Ryan Parker and Catherine Scratch for a few days. Basically hunting them, looking for this GTR. We knew he was in it.
For what reason were you hunting them?
We were looking for them in relation to these crimes. I believe it is in evidence that there was we had a notification that Mr. Ryan Parker was
mad. How are you
assisting
doing?
in the
Have, again, thanks for
manufacturing
the
of guns. And we were looking for him after we arrested everybody else.
All right, and how did the chase end?
He crashed, of course, into a tree, and he was tased, and he ran like a little baby, and I beat him down with a flashlight.
And your other officer.
Recall what he had on him at the time of arrest.
I did not search him. I believe that's in evidence, though.
All right, it is going to be in people's in it.
You said my voice.
Could you say
Oh,
that again, ma'am?
the contents of his pockets are not in that report. So okay. All right, thank you, Toretti. That's all I have for you right now.
Huh.
All right. Actually, I want to pick up right where we left off there. You said a senior detective, right?
Yep.
However,
I'm a
that could
senior-
happen.
Senior officer, detective.
Senior
There's no
officer,
actual
detective.
senior detective type rank.
Got you. Okay. So anyone who calls themselves a senior detective, are they making that up?
Of course.
Duly noted.
That's true.
Okay. All right. You just testified that you beat Ryan Parker with a flashlight, and that's how you apprehended him. Is that correct?
One of there was multiple people beating him at the time.
Okay. Who were some of these other people that were beating him?
Kyle Pred. I think there was a few other people. Unfortunately,
Mr. Renson, please. If you're going to speak to your attorneys, do it quietly. Thank you. I can hear you all the way up here.
Yeah, Rudy.
Okay. Kyle Pred was Trooper Jackie Snow on scene.
He was on scene.
Okay. Officer Toretti, I'm going to ask you to, Senior Officer Toretti, sorry. I want to ask you to refer to the people's November there.
Okay.
Is there a reason that this didn't make it into your report, beating Ryan Parker with a flashlight?
The manner of which we apprehended him didn't seem relevant to anything. He was just fleeing, and whether we tased him, handcuffed him, or anything like that didn't seem relevant, because he did not have to be shot like a Scratch.
Okay. I'm going to ask the court to strike mention of Miss Scratch, and she's not on trial today. She'll be having her own trial later.
Yes, that is stricken from the record. Miss Scratch is currently unfit to stand trial, as I stated at the beginning of this court case. Any mention of Miss Scratch will be stricken from the record. Does everyone understand that? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. And no fault on you there, Senior Officer Toretti. I know that, just narratively these things
Give
come
him
up,
fault.
so.
Screw Toretti.
But referring, you said it's not particularly relevant. Is that the word you used? The relevant, the means he was apprehended by.
Well, after he crashed, whether it was a flashlight, a nightstick, or a taser, I didn't think was super important.
Okay. Well, you did include in there that he was tased by Trooper Snow, didn't you?
I believe he was tased. Yes, that was as I was arriving on scene. I heard that over the radio.
Okay. So it was relevant to include in the first sentence of the third paragraph that he was tased, but not relevant that he was beaten with a flashlight. Was Ryan Parker trafficking weapons at the time you apprehended him?
Sorry, say that again.
Was he trafficking firearms at the time you apprehended him?
Unsure of that. He was wanted for it, very much due to the evidence we had at the time. He was very much wanted.
Referring to November, Do you see any evidence here as to what he had on him at the time?
No.
No, neither do I. To your recollection, did he have 6 or more firearms on his person at the time you beat him with a flashlight?
Negative.
Oh, okay. To your knowledge, was he in the middle of conducting a sale or transaction at the time that you started this chase, or leading up to the point where he was hit with a flashlight?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is great. I love this.
Senior Officer Toretti, to your knowledge, have you ever witnessed Defendant Ryan Parker conducting the sale of a firearm?
This is a interesting question, considering the evidence we have of that, and that is why we were going after him.
Oh, the evidence. Okay,
I wouldn't say we
point me to an
personally-
exhibit, Detective.
Take your time. There's plenty of them there.
It sort of makes him a flying Shaw.
But again, it's these situations that would be
Sure,
enjoyable.
there's just really quickly. I'll just go over the one thing that that was to me. As you know, this is not my case. I was assisting in it as much as I could.
No, I completely understand.
The main evidence that at least I was using, unsure of the lead on this, is the maker's marks.
The maker's marks. Okay, that is Tango,
whiskey.
Tango, right?
No, that's well, the one I was using is
It's what we was drinking on
CCC.
Yes.
True.
Okay, so Senior Officer Toretti, were you present when this exhibit here was acquired?
Negative.
Okay, so you weren't on scene at the Lost MC compound when the door got kicked in?
Negative.
Okay. All right, well then let's just, take the exhibit at face value then. We're looking at this maker's mark here, not the whiskey, but the piece of paper. And we got a little circle here.
Objection. Scope.
Your objection is, ma'am?
Scope.
Scope of questioning. All right.
Your Honor, I think I've done a very good job opening the scope with Senior Officer Toretti's very own answers.
Yeah, overruled.
All right, so looking at this exhibit that you referred us to, Senior Officer Toretti, this little circle here, this dot, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
for Ryan, is there a last name attached to that? Do we know that this is referring to Ryan Parker?
Not exactly. This has been an ongoing thing for months.
Okay.
We've been looking into the people involved.
Ongoing thing.
Led
for
us
months.
to believe that it was Ryan.
Okay.
Specifically because of his relationship with the Lost.
Are you aware of any evidence on the record indicating that a firearm has ever been found bearing that dot on it, that little circle?
Right now, I mean, am I aware? I believe so. There has been one or two, but I'm sure it's not here.
Are you sure it's not here? Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I'm just looking at the evidence that we have before the court today. So if it's not there, it's not there. Let me look over my notes from the rest of this here.
Ryan, will you wait for me?
Okay, you testified as of the
Absolutely.
situation with defendants Paul, Wilson, Murphy, and Moore. That somebody dressed in white up on the roof started firing, raining hell down from above, as it were.
Correct.
Who was that individual?
I didn't get them until we got back to the police department. I don't remember off the top of my head which one that was. I know who we found there, but I don't remember which one was wearing which.
Okay, so you know the 4 people who were found there. You just you don't remember who did what exactly.
He's gonna write a super note about Ryan
were shooting at
3.0.
police officers. We do know that because we had eyes on all of them. The person in white ran back inside, from the roof to meet up with the rest of them, and that's how we took them all and gathered them up after the shootout was over.
All right, I want to refer you to the people's indigo. Here. Let me know if you need a moment to get to that one.
We're still on.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Wade Wilson's arrest report. This is the one we have on record. Does it say anything here about him shooting at police officers?
Well, it says there was a shootout.
It says there was a shootout. Does
And
it
he
say
was
anything?
also in that shootout.
Okay, okay. So we infer from that he was in that shootout. Is there a was he GSR tested?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have the positive results of that GSR test for the court today?
I was not the person who was GSRing them.
You were not the person who do you think that was?
One of the other officers on scene of that.
Okay, so it could have been Richard Dark.
No. So I want to clarify something.
Okay.
This report was done for the held until trial charge specifically when we caught them. And the individuals written down on there were the people who were working, as far as I knew, were working the lost an MC trafficking case.
Oh, okay.
For the current incident, I believe that would be found in the report that is referenced inside that report.
Okay, so report number 5937.
Yes, that should be the one.
Ah, well, it's a shame that I don't know that we have
People's
that
A.
report. Oh, People's A. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
People's A.
Which was submitted by Kevin.
I should probably take a look at this evidence.
Okay, referring to that exhibit then, do we have any positive GSR tests on that one?
Unsure. I think you probably have to ask the officers who GSR'd them.
Got you. Okay, okay.
I do know they all came back positive because I was on scene and I was told by my officers they were.
You were told by your officers they were.
I told them to GSR everybody along with Trooper Soze, and they did.
Your Honor, I'm gonna actually object to
under
my
West.
witness's own own answer here because
Mr.
that's
Rinson,
hearsay.
please. No more outbursts, Mr. Rinson. Sorry, that was a mistake. Sorry.
All right, I can't hear Mr. Crane when you do that. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Mr. Crane?
I'm actually going to object to the witness's answer on that. That's hearsay. We don't have the GSR test, nor do we have those officers to confirm those out-of-court statements.
I'll go ahead and sustain the objection. Strike it from the record.
That's solid, actually.
You can ask him your next question, Mr. Crane.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just trying to.
That's 200
get to the correct
IQ.
exhibit here.
The only information he has is that other people stated they tested positive, but they're not here to testify that. So that falling under hearsay is, and objecting to it is pretty nutty.
Actually, Your Honor, I have no more questions. I can extrapolate what I need from that line of questioning. I'm going to turn it over to Murphy.
All right, Mr. Braun.
I got nothing to say to Toretti.
Okay. You have no questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Madam DA, would you like to redirect?
Yeah.
You may proceed, ma'am.
Detective Toretti, how many of these individuals did you personally witness firing a weapon?
I witnessed at least all of them. To be honest, I got shot by all. I
So
got
you
shot by
witnessed
all
all
of them.
four of them directly firing a weapon?
4 individual people were shooting at us.
All right.
Thank you, Detective.
I need to ask one question. Could you clarify for the court again which 4 individuals?
It's going to be Kia Moore, Dale Murphy, Jason Paul, and Wade Wilson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Detective. I think that's a...
All right, Officer Toretti, you may step down at this time.
I'm about to do something
Could you please
real
state
dumb.
your name and rank for the record, please?
Richard Dog, Senior Deputy / Detective.
All right, thank you. Referring to people's RRR, that's Roger, Roger, Roger. On the 16th of October, was there a 911 about a high-value target in Great Seed?
GTA.
Yes, there was.
Okay, are you aware of what occurred at that airfield?
Yes.
Are you aware of what occurred when the officers arrived at the airfield?
Yes. I am. Would you
When
like me to
officers
tell
arrived
you?
at the airfield, what did they see?
I believe from the reports that I've read that there was a plane that had landed up in Grapeseed, and when officers arrived on scene, there was a couple of lost MC Slam vans with their logo on the side, and there was individuals wielding large weapons, class 2 weapons to be specific, and wooden crates were unloaded from the aircraft and into the vans.
And did officers follow those vans?
I'm unsure exactly if they followed them, but they definitely tracked them to a location down in the city.
Your Honor, at this time, I'm going to assert an objection as outside of the personal knowledge of the witness. Based on the last two answers, it is abundantly clear that Deputy Dark is testifying, as he stated, from what he has read.
Deputy Dark is lead investigator on the weapons trafficking investigation for the Lost MC. Therefore, he is in this capacity an expert witness on this investigation.
I'm going to go ahead and overrule the objection. You may proceed, Madam DA.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and object on the grounds of vague answer. What is? We need a definition for what he means by tracked, if anything.
Your rebuttal, Madam DA?
I'll ask him to specify what he means by
Or,
track.
or maybe Mr. Braun could ask the question when he gets him on cross.
Your Honor, I think that being vague, I think that's not saying tracked is vague isn't very vague. It's just that he doesn't. His opinion on what tracked is vague. It doesn't mean that's necessarily
I'm
what
well
it
aware.
is. So I'm going to rebut that to say it's not vague.
Objection's overruled.
So, what location were they tracked to?
They were tracked to a property on Peaceful Street, but to be more precise, it's the corner of San Andreas Ave and Peaceful Street.
Okay, thank you. Was there a similar call on the 17th of October, this time to Los Santos International?
Yes.
What did officers see at that location?
At Los Santos International Airport, there was another plane, and I think the same thing happened where officers reported that wooden crates were unloaded into a truck from a cargo plane.
And are you aware of where the truck
Nah,
went
you got
after
it
it
wrong.
left the
That's when
airport?
we was loading it out.
Yes, the truck went back to that same property on Peaceful Street.
Did officers enter that property on the 17th?
Yes.
Are you aware of what they found in that property?
There was 20 wooden crates, and some of them were small and some of them were larger.
Are you aware of what was inside those crates?
Yes, I'm under the belief, based on reports, that there was weapons found in those crates.
Were you on duty the 19th of October?
Yeah, it should be Ozzy.
I'm not very good with dates.
This would be the third day.
Yes, I believe I was on duty on the 19th. Yes.
Did you go to the airfield on that day?
Yes, I did. Yes, I went to LSIA on that day in an operation organised by Trooper Snow and Trooper Copper.
All right. And are you aware of what occurred during that operation?
Yes, during that operation, Trooper Snow and Trooper Copper posed as buyers of weapons, a large amount of weapons and explosives, During that, myself and a number of officers were undercover at the airport, where we witnessed many individuals dressed in Lost MC vests. As you can see here in the court today, they're wearing those same vests. They were wielding Class 2 weapons. There was the same Lost MC slam vans on scene at the present at a weapons deal. It was large scale. The deal went ahead, and weapons were purchased from individuals who were also charged with weapons trafficking on the 19th of October. No intervention was made at the airport. Officers then followed the people who sold the weapons from the airport to the location on Peaceful Street.
Objection, Your Honor. Narrative.
I'm going to go ahead and sustain that. Well,
What
I need the
happened?
questions to be more direct, and I need the answers to be even more direct. Okay? When you
Yes,
start
Your
getting
Honor.
on a narrative, it becomes very redundant, and I need it to be very, very clear questions, very, very clear answers. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. So we're picking up where he left off?
Yes.
Okay.
But
I will
going
be
forward,
very direct with the questions,
right.
yes.
And I know it can be difficult at times. People can start recalling things. It gets very, very, how do I say it? Just the waters get murky when you start getting on these long narratives. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So officers went back to Peaceful Street, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And once there, did they again encounter the Lost MC?
Yes. While SWAT vans and officers were present on scene, two blacked out vehicles arrived on scene, and 4 Lost MC members exited those vehicles and opened fire on officers.
Wow, we didn't really have a
And
choice.
you said the vehicles were blacked out.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Were these individuals who opened fire on officers arrested?
Yes, they were.
Are you aware of their identities?
Yes, it was Rudy Rinson, Gary Adams, Holden Malou, and Gaz Malou.
That's us.
All right.
I forgot Raid.
Wait,
Were you on
forgot
duty on the
Raid.
29th of January?
Of January this year or last year?
Oh, sorry, of December. Sorry, 29th of December.
29th of December. Yes, I think I was. Yes.
Okay. Did you receive a 911 call about a man dropping things into a dumpster?
Yes, I did.
And what did you see when you got to that location?
When I arrived, it was at the comedy club, just up on Vinewood Boulevard, and I witnessed a male. He was wearing a black mask, like a bike mask, and he had an Uzi in hand. It was a suppressed
anything to do
Uzi,
with
which is a
us?
Class 2 weapon. He was holding that in one hand, and with the other hand, he was inside a dumpster behind the comedy club.
Did you apprehend that man?
I did.
Right. And who did it turn out to be?
That was Harvey Normandy.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Harvey
Oh,
is
the
named
snitch?
in people's
Maybe?
VV
You
as
never know.
proving he lost large amounts of money on regular occasions.
And
I am again going to call this into relevance. The actions of Harvey Normandy have no bearing on the trial that we're here
Papa
for
also
today,
gave us money.
unless
They will-
the DA would like to elaborate.
yeah,
There
coppers
is a
give us
link that
money.
is about to be established with my next question.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and overrule the objection. Establish the link, please.
Were heavy pistols found among the weapons that Harvey Normandy was in possession of when he was arrested?
Yes, in his vehicle that he was driving, we found 7 heavy pistols that had been marked with the same markings found in people's CCC. In addition to that, he had a heavy pistol on his person with another marking.
Objection, Your Honor. Facts not in evidence.
Your rebuttal?
Public knowledge, it's on the docket.
Rebuttal, Your Honor. We can't just throw someone else's record from their court case and their subsequent guilty plea against other defendants. I can cite about 12 United States Supreme Court
I'm well
cases.
aware of the Supreme Court cases. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and sustain the objection.
Secondary rebuttal would be that Mr. Normandy's name wasn't redacted in time for me to actually enter any specific evidence regarding Mr. Normandy.
Okay. All right. I've already sustained the objection. Please move on. Thank you.
Were you in charge of the weapons trafficking investigation that began on the 27th of December?
Yes.
Is that Alan?
And are you aware of what occurred when officers went to search the Lost MC clubhouse?
I am.
Can you describe briefly for us what occurred?
Yes, when officers arrived on scene of the Lost MC clubhouse, they were operating I don't know what the word is. They were doing a raid on the property. Gary Adams and Cherry Devine were inside the building when officers attempted to enter. Gary Adams pointed a Uzi at officers, and there was
Sounds
a
like
shootout
Gary.
where both Gary Adams and Cherry Devine were incapacitated and arrested. Shortly following that, a bench was found inside the clubhouse with heavy pistol molds and recipes which indicated that the Lost MC do in fact craft heavy pistols, or they did.
Was Gary Adams the only one that was in the clubhouse firing at officers?
And no, Cherry Devine was also doing the same.
All right. And as officers were leaving, what happened then?
As Trooper Snow was leaving the property, he ran into Paddy Patrickson, who was linked to the investigation and was found in possession of items which would be used to start a fire.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
In what sense? In regards to the fire stuff?
The fire stuff.
I'm unsure on the exact contents he was found with, but nonetheless, it was items that would be used to start a fire.
All right. Do you recognize the marks that are in people's CCC? Charlie?
Yes, I do. I've been looking at those for the past 4 months.
Have they been on every heavy pistol that you found in the last 4 months?
Yes.
Objection. Facts not in evidence.
Expert witness asking his expert opinion.
You have a rebuttal of that, Mr. Crane?
My rebuttal would be that in the people's hold on, let me figure out which exhibit we're looking at.
We don't have every heavy pistol that's been recovered in evidence, so it is facts not in evidence.
Your Honor, rebuttal. She's asking everyone that he's came across personally, not everyone that's ever existed on the planet.
Well, everyone that he's ever recovered is not in evidence.
Yeah, but it's his personal opinion as a
All right.
witness.
Both of you.
And it's
stop
facts not in evidence.
the back and forth, please. Objection's overruled.
I was a judge.
He's trying to trip me up.
For what reason did you begin
He's
investigating
gonna have something to
the
say about
loss
everything
as
I
a
say
source?
here.
Quiet,
For what reason did you begin investigating the loss as a source of the heavy pistols?
There was a few different reasons. There was a outburst by Erwin Dundee in a court case where he stated that the Lost MC were producing heavy
Objection,
pistols.
Your Honor. Facts not in evidence.
That was just
Your rebuttal. If you don't have a rebuttal, it's fine. I can rule on the objection.
Can I rebuttal?
No.
Sorry.
Madam DA, do you have a rebuttal to that?
I don't have a rebuttal.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and sustain the objection.
All right. I need 2 minutes, Dennis.
Okay.
Dennis, I need a decision on something.
What?
Turn around.
Give me one moment. Court's in recess for 2 minutes.
All right. So you said there were several things that encouraged you to begin investigating the loss, correct?
Yes.
Were there other factors that led you to consider the Lost MC as a source of the heavy pistols?
Yes, given the evidence that has been submitted about the incidents that occurred in October, with them being associated with weapons trafficking, that was one reason. Another reason was the fact that I remember that from personal experience that they have been found in very well kept and obviously marked heavy pistols, which was unusual given most people just kind of don't really touch their guns and keep them kind of horrible and all that kind of stuff.
Right. That is all the questions at this time. Slate, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
All right. Defense.
I've got a few. We'll see how many I can get away with. How are you doing today, Deputy?
Fantastic.
That's good. All right. So looking at these circumstances from October 19th, 2020, that was a while ago, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I don't expect you to remember anything with perfect clarity. If you don't remember, just say you don't remember. Who were the defendants that we have here today who were arrested arising out of that?
Those I am sure were arrested, but the charges were dropped were Gary Adams, Rudy Brinson, Gaz Malou, and Holden Malou. They were arrested for the incident on the 19th, but the charges of weapons trafficking were dropped.
Arrested for the incident on the 19th. Is that the incident you were personally present for?
Yes, that was the shooting of officers.
Shooting
with
of
Class 2
officers.
weapons.
Class 2 weapons.
Big
Is
guns.
I've got a dumb question. Is a heavy pistol a Class 2 weapon?
Negative, that's a Class 1.
Class 1, okay.
I would
okay.
like to clarify, because it might be interesting to you, that they were also found in possession of heavy pistols at that shootout.
Okay, okay. They were found in possession of heavy pistols at that shootout.
Yes.
Okay. Why were the charges dropped?
I don't know.
You don't know. You
Yeah,
said...
you told me not to just say I don't know if I don't know.
Outside of personal knowledge?
Rebuttal, according to the DA's rebuttal to my own objection, he's an expert on this case file and therefore should know the answer to that question.
He is, however, not a member of the DA's
Got him.
office, and the DAs are the ones that press to drop charges.
Braun.
I was just
Do not
clearing my
outburst
throat, Your
like
Honor.
that. Right. Got him. Or I'll get you, okay?
Yeah, I mean, haven't you seen Lord of the Rings? It's just like, go.
Yeah, I'm well aware of the trilogy. Thank you.
Somebody get Murphy a gold ring.
Okay,
before
so we have an
he's out.
objection on the table. Objections. Go ahead if you want to rebut.
Yeah, the rebuttal that or the response to her rebuttal is we allowed Deputy Dark here to testify as to incidents that happened, I believe, on the 16th and 17th of October that he was not personally present for, on the premise that he is an expert of this investigation. Asking him why the charges were dropped falls well within the scope of knowledge that was established by the district attorney.
Madam DA?
He is, however, not a member of the district attorney's office, and they're the ones who determine whether to drop or pursue charges.
Objections overruled.
To scratch the itch that Miss Green's getting at, was it the DA's office who dropped charges on you, Deputy Dark?
Drop charges on me? I haven't been arrested.
Sorry, dropped charges on the investigation you were heading up on the October 19th incident.
I would like to clarify that at the time of the incidents on October 16th, 17th, and 19th, I was not leading an investigation into the Lost MC.
Okay, okay. So you were not, in fact, the lead of that investigative file at the time?
Negative. That was Trooper Snow.
That was Trooper Snow. Okay, if only he had been named as a witness on the docket. All right, let's see. You said there were a bunch of big-ass boxes of weapons found, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any of those boxes contain heavy pistols to your knowledge?
Negative, not to my knowledge.
Okay. To your knowledge, what was in those boxes?
Class 2 weapons.
Class 2 weapons. Can you give the court a couple of examples of what a Class 2 weapon is?
Class 2 weapon may be a AK, could be a MP5 submachine gun. Mostly they're automatic weapons fired with two hands.
Mostly automatic weapons. Okay. All right. Just for my own personal curiosity, is a shotgun a Class 2 weapon?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. To your knowledge, did any of those weapons have a marking similar to the People's exhibit with the maker's marks on it?
Negative. The weapons found in the crates and during the weapons deal did not have markings on them.
Okay. And I want to clarify one more point. Your investigation on the Lost Motorcycle Club, is that for trafficking all weapons, or is that just for trafficking heavy pistols?
That's just for trafficking heavy pistols. That was the point of my investigation.
Okay. So they're not here today because they're suspected of trafficking class 2s, are they?
They're here today.
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Rebuttal. This is a cross-examination.
That's right. It's cross-examination. He can lead on a cross-examination, Mr. ADA.
And I'm gonna jump in here real quick. That question was not leading. It's a basic yes or no question.
Right.
So even before you objected, you were wrong.
And they really do get these people from the Yellow Pages.
Yeah, I know, but still, no. Some folks need to learn what is leading and what is not.
Can we'll get
Anyhow.
we'll
Here's the thing: judges have
I understand,
very
I'm teaching
different
moment, I'm taking a chance,
opinions on that. You can very much so get away with some yes or no questions. Could absolutely be leading. Was
so
the
for clarity,
car
Deputy Dark,
red?
none of my clients, senior deputy, my
the yes or
apologies,
no.
get your title right. Senior Deputy Dark, for clarity,
And very
none
much
of
so
my
leading.
clients, the people over to your right, my left, they're
What
not here
color was
because they're
the
suspected
car?
of trafficking class 2 weapons, are they?
They're here because they're being charged with weapons trafficking.
Okay. Is that weapons trafficking of all weapons, or are they specifically suspected of trafficking heavy pistols?
They're suspected of weapons trafficking.
Okay. Did you not just testify earlier that you suspected them of trafficking heavy pistols, Senior Deputy Dark?
That's correct, but the charge of weapons trafficking does not clarify class 1 or class 2.
Okay, let's talk about that charge. I'm glad you brought that up. Can you read that charge for the court?
No.
No, why not?
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, fair enough.
Crane
To
just
your
activated
knowledge,
trap card.
what is weapons trafficking then, according to the laws of the state of San Andreas?
To my knowledge, weapons trafficking includes being in possession of a large amount of weapons, moving a large amount of weapons, or producing a large amount of weapons.
It's interesting that you say "or producing." Okay, all right. Okay, so this situation on October 19th, were any
Yes.
members of the Lost MC seen by you personally directly interacting with any of these large crates of weaponry?
The large crates of weaponry. Are you sure you're on about the right day, sir?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Were the large crates of weaponry on the 2 days before the 17th?
Yeah, 16th and the 17th was the large crates, and then on the 19th, there was just the weapons were loaded into a plane.
Got you. Okay. Were the Lost MC seen directly interacting with those while they were being loaded onto a large plane?
Not personally by myself, no.
Not personally by you. On any of these days, the 16th, the 17th, or the 19th, did you see any members of the Lost MC receive financial compensation for what they had been doing?
I wasn't present on the 16th or the 17th.
Your Honor, since I'm being met with this "I wasn't present" rhetoric during my line of questioning, I'm going to ask the court to strike all reference to the 16th and the 17th. As I previously objected, this is outside of this individual's personal knowledge. It's purely hearsay.
Your Honor, he's asking him if he specifically witnessed. He's not asking him if other officers witnessed or what else may have occurred.
Yes, but my response to that, Your Honor, is I am supposed to have the expert of this case file before me right now that I can ask any and all questions to, and every single time that I ask a question, he doesn't know.
Hold on.
Rebuttal, Your Honor. Just
wait,
because he doesn't know the specific of something
wait a
doesn't
moment.
mean that he
Wait.
is supposed to know.
Why is that fucking Muppet talking all the time there?
Senior Deputy Dark.
Yes.
No more outbursts from you when he's addressing me. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Apologies.
Thank you. Because when you interrupt him, I can't hear him. Okay?
Sorry.
I have to differentiate between two different voices. Do you see where this goes?
Yes.
Okay.
Chaos.
Thank you. Now, could you please repeat that, Mr. Crane?
Yes, Your Honor. My response is simply that I am supposed to have an expert of this case file before me today, and every time that I ask a question about these incidents on the 16th or the 17th, I'm met with, I personally didn't witness. We simply can't actually unravel what happened on either of those days other than the very pointed questions that were previously asked by the prosecution and what's actually contained in the case file on this. We have no way of actually uncovering any exculpatory facts on this.
Rebuttal of that would be Mr. Crane's expecting him as an expert to know every single bit of information that he wants to know. Whenever the information that this individual has is just information that he was able to obtain as being on the case as an expert. That doesn't incline him to knowing absolutely everything, and thinking as such would be absurd.
Your Honor, Mr. Crane is expecting him to know every single detail of this case. He has the information that was obtained by him as an expert. Thinking that he would know every single detail of every interaction that ever occurred on this case is absurd.
By your own admission, he's the lead investigator. Shouldn't he know all those things before he comes to court here about this case?
Your Honor, briefly, if I may, we don't have anybody named as a witness we can ask these questions to, which by definition makes them hearsay.
The 17th of October?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, they were named, but then they said they
Okay.
had nothing to do with the court
Listen, I want to make something very clear. Yeah, nothing I say,
And they were
don't say it at
subsequently
all.
stricken by the DA's office.
Joking or not,
which means that
it's not going to be
prejudicial
entertained.
to enter any information related to these dates against my clients because we cannot question them.
Your Honor, we don't mind him asking the questions to him. We just don't expect him to be upset when it is not the answer that he wants. Because I don't know it should suffice just fine if he doesn't know.
Right, I understand. I'm going to deny the motion at this time.
Understood, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to get back on track here, sorry about the back and forth there, Senior Deputy. But
That's okay.
So you personally did not witness any financial transactions towards members of the Lost MC, correct?
No.
On any of the 3 days in question?
No.
And you personally did not witness them interacting with any of the crates of weaponry on any of the 3 dates in question, correct?
To answer your question, I was personally not there, so I did personally not witness them doing that. No.
Okay, beautiful. Are you aware of any of the named witnesses I could ask that question to who were present?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Actually, may I clarify? It is possible that Carl Predge was present on those days, as he is a detective and Trooper Snow does trust him, so he would have had him present if he was available.
Okay, understood.
Senior detective.
Oh, that made up.
Sorry.
Title. Got it. Let me review my notes briefly. I'm not sure. Murphy, if you wanna tag in for a couple of questions while I look at my notes, feel free.
Brian, are you okay?
What? Yeah, I'm fine.
What did you just take? You got
Aspirin.
a headache? Okay.
Yeah, I got a splitting headache.
You need some water?
I got some.
Did he just take a pill dry? Like he just put a pill in his mouth? That's like an animal.
Listen.
That's why you take the fucking coat.
You need a few moments, Mr. Crane.
Just swallow them.
I'm back on track, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, Senior Deputy Dark, you were present for the raid of the Lost MC compound on December 27th, 2020.
Negative.
Negative. Okay. What about the testimony we just received about the apprehension of Cherry Divine and I believe it was Gary?
Yes, that was my expert knowledge on the case.
Expert knowledge on the case. Okay. Okay. Well, relying on that expert knowledge, you know what? Actually, I've got no further questions. I am going to mark him for recall, though. I don't want to start getting into scope issues, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Murphy may have a couple.
Mr. Braun, do you have any questions for Senior Deputy
Huh?
Dark? Do you have any questions?
Give me a sec.
Right, my sister's here.
Are you all right, Mr. Braun?
I know.
This will be like the last time she ever sees
Yeah, I'm
you.
fine. I got a question.
Okay.
Just so it's crystalline for the court, I want to know precisely what you meant by tracking these individuals from place to place, or this vehicle from place to place, if you were not personally observing this.
To the best of my knowledge, they were followed by police units.
Followed by whom?
Whoever was present on that day.
Whoever was present on that day.
Yes, officers of the law.
Okay, you don't have their names.
Negative, not present, not in my mind.
Right. Okay.
A good expert witness.
Senior Deputy Dot, can you traffic a Class 2 weapon?
Yes.
Can you traffic a Class 1 weapon?
Yes.
Did other officers directly see the Lost MC unloading crates?
Yes.
Did other officers directly engage in the financial transaction with the Lost MC at the airfield?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, can you please state your name and rank for the record?
Senior Officer Kyle Pred, badge number 410.
All right, thank you. Were you on duty on the 19th of November? The 19th of October, 2020?
Yes.
All right. Do you recall the operation that occurred that day?
Yes.
All right. What was your specific part in that operation?
I had a few specific parts in that operation. I'm not really sure how into the details I should get, but I saw a lot of shit.
All right. Did you see what happened at Peaceful Street?
Yeah, I was present for that.
All right. What happened?
Essentially, I believe we were there at the place, right? A whole bunch of us, a whole group of us. I believe we were about to carry out a warrant, if I remember correctly. Sorry, it was a little while ago, but that detail doesn't matter. The fact is, we were all there, and then that's when. All right, listen, you had to have seen it. All of a
Objection
sudden,
narrative.
all these.
Yeah, hold on. There's an objection on the table. Madam DA?
I'll ask him to be a little bit more succinct.
I'm going to instruct you to ask your witnesses to base their answers and bring them down. I don't need a novel, okay?
What, you're gonna? What is it? A Twitter?
Yes, pretending this
140
courtroom is
characters
Twitter.
or less, please.
Jesus Christ!
All right, I'm going to go ahead and sustain the objection.
All right.
Do I start over?
Briefly, can you please tell us what happened at Peaceful Street?
We were at Peaceful Street. We were about to carry out a raid, if I remember correctly. That's when the Lost MC pulls up in these things. And then get this. They just get out in the middle of the street with no cover, pointing guns at us. I never seen a dumber thing in my entire fucking life.
What occurred after they pointed guns at you?
Oh my God. What occurred? Scorched earth.
massacre.
We laid them the fuck out, and then we chased the stragglers through the red garage right off Peaceful Street.
2 of them.
Do you recall who all was arrested?
I remember Reed was there. I remember Rudy was there. Gaz, because he was the last one standing.
Fucked him up.
And a bunch of others were there. It was a big operation on their end.
All right. Do you know what happened in that location at Peaceful Street? Do you know what was found in that warehouse or location?
I wasn't a part of that raid. I was just on the outside, so I don't really know. I don't know really what was in there.
All right, but you did arrest Gazmaloo?
Yes, I believe I did. Yeah.
Were you on duty on the 27th of December?
I'm on duty every day, dog.
All right. Do you recall the chase with Mr. Dinkleaf?
Oh, yeah, the one. Yeah, I recall that.
Okay, can you tell us how it ended?
Oh, you mean where Holden held a fucking Draco out of the side of a goddamn slam van and tried to blow up gas containers, but he fucking missed every shot? Yeah.
I didn't.
And then we got into a gunfight that ended at the hospital parking lot.
Right. And who was arrested as a result of that?
Reed was there. Holden was there. I'm unsure on who the 2 other people were, but Reed and Holden.
All right. Were you on duty on the 28th of December?
Yeah.
All right. Do you recall taking part in the manhunt for Lost MC?
Oh yeah. I was in charge of that one.
Okay. And sorry to just dial it back a second. Were you part of the raid that occurred on the 27th?
Of the Lost MC clubhouse?
Yeah, the clubhouse raid.
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell us what occurred during that raid? What did you personally witness?
So I'll make sure to keep the characters short. We pulled up. There was Cherry, and a few other individuals were there with Class 2 firearms. We had to fight our way in. It started off as like a little kind of standoff, but then shots erupted from the garage, and that's when other officers pushed in. I was actually on the outside of that. I was watching the door that's closest to. I was watching that side door. I don't know if that's the main door or not, but I think that technically is the front door. I was on door watch.
All right, did you go inside?
Yeah, I did go inside.
All right. Are you aware of what all was found within that location?
Yeah, that we found. It was made to my
I'm
attention that they
listening.
found some type of bench, and they asked me to dismantle it, as they know how much I would enjoy causing the Lost MC anguish.
Saying it on the
All
stand
right.
is terrible.
Going back to the 28th now, you said you took part in the manhunt for Lost MC members.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what occurred with that hunt?
So in one particular instance that I was a part of, it was Lucy, Gaz, and a few others, and there was a spotting. There was some type of meeting or something going on. I'm not going to get into the details, but we were in pursuit off road. A helicopter had eyes on them. Me and another ground unit, I believe it was 414. That's Senior Officer Mac. We were along the train tracks, I think just north of the lumber mill, and they were outside of a crashed vehicle shooting at Air One with assault rifles. And then that's when I showed up and I took care of business.
All right. And were you involved in the arrest of Al Weaselton?
Was Al Weaselton a part of that instance?
Yes.
Yes.
And you said you're not quite sure who else was arrested.
I'm not 100% sure who was there, but there was 4 people there, all right.
All right. So I'm assuming you're also not aware of exactly what Mr. Weaselton had on him at the time of his arrest.
No, I'm not 100% aware of what Mr. Weaselton had on him at that
All right.
time.
Slate, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Defense?
Oh, yeah.
Take your time.
All right. In the shootout that occurred on October 19th, 2020, outside of this Peaceful Street location, you said they got out of their vehicles with no cover?
Yeah, they got out of their vehicles with no cover, with fucking pointing with AKs in their hands. Dumb as fuck.
Did they just get summarily slaughtered because of that?
Oh my god, did they ever?
Good lord. That's okay. Did any officers go down during this shootout?
I can't recall.
Can't recall, but you do recall the Lost MC essentially stepping out into a blender.
Oh yeah, they dove face first into a kiddie pool. It's only like 2 feet deep, but they did a dive off of. They dove into that, and they hit their face on the bottom.
All right. Let's see. What else did you bring up? Okay, the apprehension of Reed Dankleaf and others. Did they make any tactically sound decisions during that apprehension?
You mean during like that whole pursuit?
Yeah. You said that somebody was leaning out of the side of a van with a Draco, but couldn't even hit a gas tanker. Is that right?
Yeah. What happened was, I believe Reed was driving. They took it through the pumps, like they made like a U-turn or something. They turned us around, took us through the pumps, and that's when the vehicle stopped and Holden leaned out with a Draco and started laying into the pumps, trying to blow up multiple officers at the Grove Street gas station.
Okay. Did any officers actually get blown up?
No.
Okay. Did any officers get incapacitated from gunfire?
Unsure, but I know nobody got blown up.
Nobody got blown. So the plan didn't work.
Yeah, that plan was flawed.
Got you. Okay. This apprehension of Lucy, Gaz, and 2 other defendants who you can't remember. How did that go down? Did they surrender peacefully, or was there a shootout?
They were there was no time for them to surrender. They got out and they were shooting at the helicopter with assault rifles, and then that's when I got out of my car with my 7.62 and I started decimating them from the hills like the rodents they are.
Absolutely decimating them. Okay. Would you describe my clients as tactically sound in these situations?
Tactically sound is not a phrase that I would use when talking about this group of dumb fucks. You know,
All right, let's
the opposite.
let-
Tactically unsound.
All right, let's use a little bit of street lingo. Let's
Tactically deaf.
What would you call them? Shooters, Officer Brown.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance?
It's highly relevant, Your Honor. I'm gonna get to a point very quickly with this.
Your Honor, if I may.
Sure.
This is a trial for weapons trafficking. If they are, quote, shooters or tactically sound has no relevance to if or if not they were weapons trafficking.
Your Honor, I can tell you exactly how it's relevant, or I could get there in a couple of questions. It's your call.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and overrule the objection, but get there in the next question or two.
Okay.
I remember. You want to rephrase the question, or do you want to say it again?
If you remember it, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I remember it. I would call them shooters, but I would also call them missers, like 50-50.
50-50, okay.
They're shooters, but they're also missers.
Got you, okay. So you would say they frequently find themselves incapacitated during these shootouts?
Well, I mean, they ride around on bikes.
Ride around on bikes, okay. In your experience, whenever one, as you call them in the police, gang is at war with another gang, do individuals frequently rob one another in these situations?
Objection, relevance?
Your Honor, it's relevant as to how my client's weapons may have wound up in the possession of others, which is alleged by the prosecution.
That do be true.
Oh shit!
Holy shit!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, this is what I said to Rachel
Understood.
about us getting clapped all the time.
Okay, let's focus on this raid from December 27th. You were present for that. You said that you were specifically asked to dismantle this bench because people knew you would want to cause anguish to the lost MC. Is that right?
That's gonna haunt him.
That
dude.
was my words, not anyone else's.
Your word. Why did you select that specific phrasing?
Because look at them. They make me sick.
They make you.
I
Do
love
you have a
Kyle.
particular bias against my client?
No.
It's relevant as to the witness's bias.
Yeah, I do. Reed owes me money.
Overruled. I hate all criminals equally.
You hate all criminals.
What did you
all
just do?
criminals equally. So you would want to cause that same anguish, no matter who the defendants were, as long as they were, accused of some higher crime.
Oh yeah, I would.
Okay. Before court started today, we heard a little back and forth between yourself and Mr. Dankleaf. What is this about
Objection,
you?
scope?
I've got nothing for that. I'll ask that one on recall. Question withdrawn.
All right, question's been withdrawn. My apologies if my tongue gets twisted every now and then.
Go ahead.
No need for apologies, Your Honor. Let me look over my notes here.
No, I'm good right now.
Okay. Senior detective. Senior detective. That's the rank you prefer, right?
Yes.
Okay. Senior Detective Pratt. Were you aware of the purpose of the raid on December 27th, 2020?
Yes, I was.
Okay. What were you guys looking for?
All right, so I'm the wrong person to be asking because I didn't really put together the warrant, so I don't know 100% what exactly the warrant was for. But I know that we were looking for some human body parts, as Murphy put it. Body parts.
Looking for body. Yeah, that's a catchy thing. It sticks with you. Okay, so you were looking for body parts. Who was it that did put this raid together then?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, so and I'm only asking you this so that I can direct the question to the right person. Would Dark be a better person for me to ask these questions to?
I think that would be an appropriate question for Dark. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll just ask him when I get him back up here then. Senior
Pro, thank you so much
detective
for the 5
Fred,
gifted subs. I appreciate
have you
it. God,
previously
thanks for 21
executed any
months.
warrants looking for body parts in the past?
No, I honestly can't say I've searched for body parts before.
I haven't searched for body parts before. Okay. All right. I have no further questions at this time. Out of a sense of precaution, I would like to mark Officer Pred for recall. I'm going to turn it over to Rachel and Murphy.
All right. Mr. Braun, or I'm sorry, what's Rachel's last name?
Parker, Your Honor.
Are you taken?
It's my sister.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions, Miss Parker or Mr. Braun?
No, for recalling the witness, I got nothing.
All right.
Senior Officer Pred, if a raid is to be conducted, is anything illegal found in the property, regardless of the raid warrant, admissible?
Yeah. Wait, what's admissible mean?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the answer as it's clearly outside of the personal and professional knowledge of the witness based on his follow-up question.
I'm an expert. I do this stuff all the time. I just sometimes listen. I have ADHD, and it really affects my. I don't want to have to talk about this here. It's getting me all sad. Can we just? I'm an expert.
Stack your poker chips, Kyle.
I am.
Stack your poker chips.
So we had an objection. I'm going to go ahead and sustain the objection.
All right, I'll rephrase, Your Honor. If a raid is conducted for the search of drugs and illegal weapons are found, can the suspect then be charged with the possession of the illegal weapons?
Yes.
Objection, speculation, and relevance. We're here on gun trafficking, and he's throwing out hypotheticals.
Well, one, as senior officer, as Pred is an officer, he would have firsthand knowledge of something like that. And secondly, I would like to point out that Defense Attorney Crane was asking about raids on body parts, so I'm proving the relevance of why a raid for the body parts would have been, why the illegal weapons found would be relevant.
I'm going to go ahead and overrule the objection. You can answer the question.
Yeah, all that stuff would be able to be, dealt with. I mean, you can't just go into someone's house looking for an arm and ignore 47 fucking heavy pistols in a goddamn in a lockbox. You know what I mean? I mean, these guys are messes. They're a mess. They leave shit everywhere. You walk into that clubhouse, you see dirty underwear and pistols everywhere. I should know. I was in there.
Okay. Is there any more questions?
There wasn't a single pistol found in that clubhouse.
So I'm sure we'll all agree that there is a lot of evidence in this case, but there are some specific.
Could the
parts
peanut, Your Honor, real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt. Could the peanut gallery, specifically the deputies, please shut the fuck up?
Yeah, what are you doing?
All right,
back there?
all y'all back there.
Listen, it's one thing if a motorcycle club does stuff like that. You are government employees.
Guys, fuck off.
Guys.
Right?
I was gonna chew them out.
You should be held to a higher standard.
I assure you, Your Honor, we weren't doing anything, but I do
Who's the highest ranking
apologize.
back there?
It's a tie. Three-way tie.
Don't let it happen again. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We need a sergeant.
There are some specific pieces of evidence that we would like to highlight at this time. People's YY, the balancing sheet, mentions specifically an entry on 1223 listed as weapons sold for $90,000. There's also an item on 1217 listed as weed purchased from the club for $35,000, as well as regular purchases of gold bars,
All right,
which
hold on. Which one was that one?
People's YY, the balancing sheet. Yankee. Sorry.
It's quite all right.
All right, go ahead.
Gold bars are listed in People's umbrella as materials necessary in the production of heavy pistols. People's Umbrella also lays out the price for heavy pistols and 9mm, both retail and wholesale. It also includes a calculator that determines the material cost for manufacturing both of these weapons and outlines the club's current inventory of weaponry, materials to craft weaponry, and other illegal items that they are storing at various locations. This coincides with a mention in the meeting's notes, which is People's Zulu from 1206 that talks about a gun order and that members must pay from pocket to purchase personal guns. On 1213, in the same exhibit, it is noted that members from a German chapter of the Lost have stolen their templates for 9mm. On 1219, they give someone middleman status due to his selling all of the items in a package that he was given.
It's not that bad.
On 1223, there is an entry where the marks on the weapons are mentioned and specifically identified as belonging to Taryn and Holden, two individuals that are listed on People's CCC, which is the list of manufacturers' marks. And while it does list only first names, we find it incredibly improbable and implausible that another group exists where all of these first names exist in conjunction with these marks and this other evidence. We would like also to draw the court's attention to People's David, where there is a showcase of each of these marks, save Ryan's, on guns both in the possession of members of the Lost MC and the possession of others throughout the city.
All right. Each of those items has been noted for further review. Madam District Attorney, does that conclude your presentation of your case at this time?
Yes, at this time the prosecution rests.
Very good. Mr. Crane.
Holy shit, I didn't
Does the
Your
defense
Honor.
team wish to begin?
Yes, Your Honor, we are ready.
All right, the floor is yours, sir.
Your Honor, the defense would recall Senior Deputy Dark to the stand.
Senior Deputy Dark.
That's me.
It's going to be a squid. Remind you, sir, you are still under oath in this court.
Yes.
What are you, fucking Tyrone? Shut up.
Mr. Crane?
You know what? I'll call him a dog ass rat then.
All right. Senior Deputy Dark, before we get started, I just want you to know I'm going to be referring to a lot of the people's exhibits. So if you could get your paperwork in order in a position where you could refer to those along with me, I would greatly appreciate you.
All right. If I need a bit of time, I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Just tell me to pause or slow down. We got time here today.
Okay. I think I'm good. Just let me know which.
All right. I'm starting. We're going to go kind of in order on these. Let's start with the people's exhibits B and C. Could you could you identify these for the court? Tell us what these are.
People's B is going to be the Rudy Rinson property search warrant, and People's C is going to be the raid receipt of that warrant.
Yeah, she's doing great as DA.
Were you the one who applied for this warrant?
And if anyone says
Yes, I
otherwise, they're
was.
stupid.
Okay. What specifically were you looking for in the execution of this warrant?
I'll flat out say
We
it.
were looking for any items that may have been used to manufacture weapons.
Okay. And based on the people's C, is it safe to assume that this warrant was executed?
Yes.
Okay. Did you locate any heavy pistols during this raid?
That's a negative. No heavy pistols were found.
All right. Let's flip over then. Let's look at the people's exhibits D and E. Once you're there, can you identify these exhibits for the court?
This was a Rudy Rinson phone warrant to search his personal mobile phone along with the receipt.
Okay. Was this warrant executed?
Yes.
All right. Were you the one who executed it?
I was negative. I believe. Give me one moment to try and remember who that was.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe it may have been either Senior Deputy Ziggy Bugs or Senior Officer Toretti. All three of us executed phone search warrants on Rudy, Gaz, and Lucy at the same time.
Okay. So you guys kind of split those three defendants
Yes.
up and got you. Is there any evidence presented from the execution of that warrant? Any, screen caps of text messages or phone call logs that came out of that?
Negative. No evidence, to my knowledge, has been presented today.
Okay. Okay, let's look at the people's L and M. It's going to be Lima and Mike. Can you identify these exhibits for the court?
This is going to be, is Lima and Mike correct?
Correct, yes.
It's going to be Holden Malou's property search warrant along with his raid receipt.
Okay. Did you participate in the execution of this warrant?
Yes, I believe I was actually present for these initial raids.
Okay. And once again, what were you guys looking for?
He was present. He was present.
These initial raids, we were looking for body parts.
Looking for body parts, okay. Did you locate any heavy pistols in the execution of this warrant?
No heavy pistols were found.
The People's Exhibit N for Nancy. Can you refer to that one for me and tell me what it is?
This was Holden Malou's personal mobile phone search warrant.
Okay. Was this ever executed?
To my knowledge, no, this warrant was not executed.
Never executed, okay, but we got to deal with it anyway. All right, let's move on then. Let's go to the People's Exhibit O and P. Oscar and, I don't know, Peanut.
Papa.
Yeah, I'm not a cop. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can.
I'm gonna
You
teach all
okay, Your
y'all.
Honor?
No, nothing. I'm gonna one of these days. I'm gonna wrap my hands around the. Put that away, Toretti. I'm gonna wrap my hands around the throat of every single individual in
Is
this city.
Oscar Peanut related to Mr. Peanut?
No. But the correct phonetic alphabet for P is Papa. Papa. NATO certified correct phonetic alphabet used all over the world in every English speaking country. You dirty bastards. Continue.
Papa.
All right. Now that we've been
Papa?
corrected, the People's Exhibits, Oscar and Papa. What are these?
Oh.
This is the search warrant for Gary Adams for his properties and the receipt.
All right. Was this warrant executed?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Were any heavy pistols found during the execution of the warrant?
I don't believe so.
Negative.
All right. The People's Exhibit Q for Quebec. What's that one?
That's going to be Gary Adams' phone search warrant.
Okay. Was this warrant executed?
I found heavies in
Negative.
mine.
Okay. Do we have any evidence about Gary's phone on the record?
Negative. I don't believe so.
All right. All right. This time I'm coming at you with three of them. We've got exhibits R, S, and T. So Roger, Sierra, and Tango.
Well done.
Okay. That's going to be a Charon raid search warrant, the raid receipt, and the raid photographs.
What did you just do?
All right. What were we looking for in this raid?
By the looks of it, we're looking for body parts.
Looking for body parts. Okay. Was the warrant executed?
Yes.
Were any heavy pistols found?
Negative.
Not a single one. Okay. All right. The People's Exhibit U. I don't know this one. I'm going to give Arts a stroke. Uganda.
Uniform. And R is Romeo as well. I just gave you the kudos because, you got Sierra and Tango correct.
So U for Uganda.
U for Uganda.
Yeah, Uganda be kidding me with all these things he's coming up with for these letters.
It's going to be a Charon raid phone search warrant.
All right. Was this one executed?
No.
It wasn't executed.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. All right. So we have no proof on the record of anything that was in Mr. Raid's phone.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. All right. Let's move on down then. Let's look at the People's Exhibit V and W. Victor and Wilco.
Whiskey, much like the greatest
Okay.
alcohol ever.
Objection.
On what grounds?
On this At this point, Your Honor, I think that he's badgering the court system itself by deliberately getting these wrong. There's no way he doesn't know that. Crane's doing this on purpose, I believe. Try to agitate the courts.
It's as to the phonetic alphabet, and
Here is some good luck biddies
Yeah,
curvy hot.
it's working.
Cyril, thank you so much for the
I thought it
1500
was P
biddies.
as in pterodactyl.
Can we strike that from the record?
I would like to point out that officers agree with me. They don't know this shit either.
No, most officers don't use it. They go boy, Adam, Nora. All
Well, that's
that crap.
because nobody
Yeah,
teaches
we
the officers
stopped
how to.
using that one. We stopped
No.
using the NATO system.
That's because, as I have heard, 95% of the police force doesn't know how to talk on the radio.
True.
Okay. Now, if we could continue.
Yes. For some reason, I know the NATO.
All right, the people's exhibits V and W, Victor and Whiskey. What are those?
It's Paddy Patterson's search warrant and the raid receipt.
Okay. What were we looking for this time?
This, in a similar fashion to it, we were looking for items related to weapons manufacturing.
Okay, so this time we're looking for weapons manufacturing stuff. Was the warrant executed?
Yes.
Did we find any heavy pistols?
Yes, we found 2 heavy pistols.
We found 2 heavy pistols this time. All right, so we're 8 or 9 of these in. We found 2 heavy pistols. Okay. Let's look at the People's
Jesus.
Exhibit X for X-ray.
But it's going to be Paddy Patterson's phone search warrant.
Okay, was this one executed?
Negative.
Okay, I don't know why it's on the record then. Let's move on to the People's Exhibit Z for Zulu.
Okay, yes, Cherry Divine's phone search warrant.
I mean, he
Okay, was this one executed?
Go through my phone.
Negative.
Okay, starting to see a pattern here.
And he got
Let's
shanked
move
in the
on
neck.
down. We've got the People's Exhibits Alpha, Alpha, Bravo, Bravo, and Charlie, Charlie.
Okay, these are Gaz Malou's search warrant for his properties and the receipt, and then a phone search warrant and the receipt.
Okay.
Oh,
And
never, the receipt wasn't on there. Sorry, you didn't ask for that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, you're fine. There's a lot of these to go through. So these property search records, were these executed?
Yes.
Okay. What were we looking for this time?
Items related to weapons manufacture.
All right. We find any heavy pistols?
Yes, we found 1 heavy pistol.
Okay. 1 heavy pistol. How many in total is that now?
I haven't been keeping count. I hope you have.
I have. It's 3 actually. All right. Let's look at the People's Exhibits Delta, Delta, and Echo, Echo. And if the court is wondering, yes, I did pull up a cheat sheet, so I stopped giving you all an aneurysm.
Oh, good
Yeah,
job.
I was waiting for you to say Zimbabwe.
Yes, it's going to be Gaz Malou's phone warrant and the receipt.
Phone warrant and the receipt. This one was this one executed?
It was.
Of course it was. We got the receipt. Is there any evidence attached to that receipt?
Would you classify that some saucy messages between Gaz and Lucy as evidence?
Was it in any way related to gun
annoying.
trafficking?
No, it was just very interesting.
Oh, okay. Okay. We might
Yeah, I'm
ask
gonna
you
go
about
for
that in
his
private.
phone records
I
of
don't
him
know
roads.
if,
Oh, wait,
the
they would be
justice here
none.
wants to hear it.
Yeah,
So.
Understood. No, nothing was attached to the receipt or the case.
All right. So we only found evidence of ERP on that. No evidence of weapons trafficking.
Jesus fucking
Hey,
Christ.
bro.
Wait, really?
What?
It was evidence of what?
Don't worry about it, Your Honor.
What does enterprise resource planning have to do with anything in this case? There,
Everything, Ryan
Echo,
Parker.
Romeo, pterodactyl.
Yeah, I was waiting.
I don't know what you're laughing
You say
for, but you better be glad they didn't go through your fucking phone.
Literally nothing in our phones.
I don't understand why does enterprise resource planning come into this?
That's sure, JP.
It's not that.
You know what? One of you can go
It
through
doesn't,
my phone.
Your Honor. We all
I'd
agree.
rather not see a picture of your
Alright.
penis.
What the hell's it? What? I don't
These
even
people
know.
that like to do role play and they make money off of it. It's really
What
fucking
the?
weird.
What
You
is
got
wrong?
Everybody on
for
the
this.
plaintiff's side, Your Honor.
Yeah,
We need
what is wrong with
clarification.
people? There's no plaintiff. There's a prosecution. Okay,
fucking
can
told you
we
he's a
get back
fucking
on
muppet.
track, Can we get back on track, please?
All right, Senior Deputy Dark. Let's look at Hotel, and Indigo. India. Sorry, let's go with that one.
Okay, there's going to be Lucille Hellman's search warrant and receipt.
All right, what were we looking for in the search warrant?
We're going to be looking for any firearms or materials relating to weapons manufacture.
Okay, and it was executed, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Did we find any heavy pistols?
Negative.
Negative. So we're still at 3. Okay. Let's see. Let's move on to Juliet, and Kilo. What are these?
It's going to be a phone search warrant and receipt.
All right. Was the warrant executed?
Yes, it was.
Any evidence of weapons trafficking on the record for this one?
Negative. Not on the record.
Okay. The People's Exhibits, Mike. What's this one?
Al Weaselton's phone search warrant.
Was it executed?
Negative.
All right. Any evidence related to that one then?
No evidence.
All right. Let's look at Oscar.
It's going to be Jason's Paul search warrant.
Okay.
Oscar, sorry, is a phone search warrant.
Phone search warrant. Was it executed?
Negative.
All right. What about Quebec? What's that one?
Wade Wilson's phone search warrant.
All right. Was that warrant executed?
Negative.
All right. Let's look then at Golf.
Sorry, you went backwards. I had to take a moment to find that. Okay, it's going to be Ryan Polker's phone search warrant.
Okay. Was it executed?
Negative.
Oh, thank God.
All right. To clarify, for all of the phone search warrants we just talked about, were these individuals in custody?
Could you clarify about when they would have been in custody? Are you on about in general?
In general, yes. Let's say from December 27th until approximately January 5th.
Yes, they have been in custody at times.
Been in custody at times. Okay. These. All right. Okay. Let's move on then. Okay. So the defendants today are presented on the charge of gun trafficking. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Are they suspected of trafficking any particular kind of firearm?
Yes, they're suspected of manufacturing heavy pistols in addition to 9mm.
Manufacturing heavy pistols as well as 9mm. The 13 defendants we just spoke about with these search warrants that were executed, how many heavy pistols did the police department find when they kicked their doors in?
That exact number I'm unsure of.
Unsure of. If I told you it was 3, would that sound about right?
You seem like an honest man.
I do my best. I appreciate that, Deputy Dark. What about 9mm? How many of those were found?
Again, I'm unsure off the top of my head. That was a lot of search warrants executed.
A lot of search warrants. I do agree with you. It is a lot. All right, let's focus on Reed Dankley for a moment. Let's look at the people's age together. What is that?
That was a search warrant for Reed Dankley.
Oh God.
Did you hear me? So.
Yes, I did. Sorry, I was straightening out my own.
Ryan,
notes
it might
here
be
on the
about to get weird.
Who applied for this warrant?
I believe it was Senior Officer Frank Williams in assistance with the DA, Paige Green.
Okay, so the district attorney's office stepped in and helped out with this one.
That's an iPhone.
Okay. What was the probable cause that was supporting this warrant?
To the best of my recollection,
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance. If the PC of the search warrant can't be challenged, then what's the point of even bringing it up?
Your Honor, we are getting there, I promise. For one, I would contest the fact that the PC of a search warrant can't be challenged. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Justice Coyote behind me was overseeing a case where I did exactly that in relation to the 4 members of the Lean Boys challenging the
And
legitimacy of
yet,
the probable
after
cause of the
that,
search warrant.
standards have been changed where they cannot be based on that case, actually. And I would love to put my gracious faith in Mr. Crane that he will get to the point, but I don't care if he wants to get to the point. He hasn't gotten to the point.
Well, I see
And
that sitting on the bench, you've forgotten the common courtesy of waiting until someone else is done with their rebuttal before you cut in back there, Coyote. So I'll go ahead and finish on up here. The other point is, although the probable cause itself may not be challenged, the probable cause does establish the parameters of the search, and that is what we are talking about here, making it highly relevant, and it's going to get to several of the prosecution's exhibits.
my rebuttal to that is we've touched on the parameters of the search, and I have no issues at all. But bringing up the probable cause is null and void as far as the parameters, as it has no relevance to the outcome of the search warrant. Other than
What's the harm in elaborating on the probable cause?
All right.
If there's no
Time.
harm,
Stop.
then why rebut it?
Stop. So,
What are you afraid of, Kaio?
Hey, did you not just hear me say stop?
Oh, I heard you loud and clear, Your Honor. I just ignored you.
Do you want to be escorted out, Mr. Braun?
Actually, kinda, yeah.
I will gladly escort him out right now, Your Honor.
Wait, okay, hold on.
What's wrong with Braun?
I want the DA up here. I want Mr. Braun up here. Come on up here.
We are looking at Exhibit Hotel, the search warrant in relation to Reed Dankley for Mountain View Drive 2 and the Lost MC Clubhouse.
Mountain View Drive 2 and the Lost MC Clubhouse. All right, and
for
so
clarity, Your Honor, I do not intend on challenging the probable cause of this warrant or attempting to say that this warrant. Oh, I believe we just lost some of my clients.
oh dear, they'll be back.
Or attacking the probable cause, as it were. I am simply trying to set up what the boundaries of this search was.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to overrule the objection at this time, but I'm going to place parameters on you, Mr. Crane. The only thing I'm interested in hearing, insofar as challenging this warrant, is challenging not the validity and the signature of the warrant or the information behind it. I'm interested in hearing any challenge you may have on the execution of this warrant. And the execution
I think
alone.
that's all he wants.
Keep your questions to that vein.
Understood, Your Honor. Already
Thank
planned
you.
to.
You're welcome.
That's all he's looking
All
for.
right, Senior Deputy Dark, let's step back into it here. What was the probable cause that was supporting?
Did
the
you see
search
body
warrant,
parts on the
against
bench?
Reed Dankleaf?
No.
Would you like me to read it, Mr. Crane?
If you need to read it to refresh your memory, or if you'd like to say it from memory, I'm good with either.
No, I'm pretty good. Mr. Dankleaf had multiple criminal reports against him in relation to, I guess the word would be harvesting people's body parts. Like I said, on multiple occasions over a time span, and in a conversation with Officer Frank Williams and Officer Luka Kozlov, freely admitted that he had done so and had people's body parts in his possessions in a secret location.
In a secret location, okay. What sorts of body parts were we looking for here?
I think it was an all manner of body parts. It's possible that in the conversation, to the best of my recollection, Reed had mentioned possibly a body double of Mr. Parker. So we were looking for a wide variety of body parts that may come together to create such a body double.
You idiot.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Have you executed warrants in the past related to searching for human body parts?
Me personally, no, I have not.
Okay. Are you aware of any such warrants that have been executed within the department?
Not to my recollection. It is possible. No, I'm just going to say no. I don't want to talk myself out of things.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. If you don't know, you don't know. All right, just real quick, Senior Deputy Dark, can you remind the court how long have you been working with the BCSO?
The BCSO, the police departments in general, because I did swap departments at a point.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you. The police department in general, then.
Over a year. I think probably coming up on 2. I don't really keep track.
Okay, and what is your rank currently?
Or like a year and a half, right?
Within the department.
Senior deputy.
Senior
Year, 5
deputy.
months or
That's pretty
something? I
high
don't
up
know.
there, right? Like not quite a sergeant, but one peg below.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you hold any special titles or certifications, or are you part of any special subdivisions?
Yes, I'm part of both the Joint Task Force, which is the detective division, and internal affairs.
Okay. What exactly is the Joint Task Force?
The Joint Task Force is
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Goes to the qualifications of the witness, Your Honor. It's the last question I have in relation to this.
I'll withdraw if it's the last because we're not going anywhere.
All right, withdrawn. Go ahead.
The Joint Task Force is a division of the police departments, which accompanies officers who show interest in investigations. So the JTF focuses on investigations, mostly long term, but they can be short term as well. In relation to the other officers outside of JTF, who focus on mainly crime that comes through dispatch and on the scene kind of stuff.
Okay, all right. Okay, throughout your training and experience that you just described to us, are you relatively familiar with the execution of search warrants?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with the plain view doctrine?
Yes.
Okay. What's your understanding?
Objection. We made a deal that he was going to have one more question if I withdraw that. He agreed, and yet we've had 3 more.
I had one more question in relation to the qualifications of the witness. I've got about 30 more questions for Dark generally.
I need you to be more specific next time.
All right, I'm overruling. But Mr. Crane, if
Yes, Your
if your argument starts getting mechanical, I'm going to cut you off at the knees.
The plain
Understood, Your
view
Honor.
is a very, very
Plain
very
view is
tricky subject.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand it's a very
Typically,
tricky
but not with the
subject, Your
bench.
Honor.
That's
I intend
different.
on navigating it with some delicacy
quite different.
under the circumstances.
Plain view due to items being all stashed in one spot.
Continue.
That's one thing.
All right.
A physical
so,
bench.
again, for based on your training and
about that.
experience, and given the special circumstances of the state that we live in, what's your understanding of the plain view doctrine?
When officers are executing a search warrant on a property,
That's my
any
stance on it,
illegal
by the way.
items in plain view can be seized in that search warrant.
Okay. Are all let me phrase this somewhat delicately. Are all illegal items apparently illegal on their face, like when you first look at them?
Certain things.
Objection. Confusing.
Yeah, I am confused, Your Honor.
I'll withdraw the question. I'll
yeah,
move on.
that needs to be withdrawn.
All right. Looking at the People's Exhibit I.
Give me one moment.
That's the raid receipt for Mr. Dankleaf.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I've got it in front of me.
All right. On page 3 of this document, which outlines the items that were seized from the Lost Motorcycle Club clubhouse, do you see any indication of documentation being seized?
On the receipt, sorry, on page 3.
Yes, sir.
Negative. There's no documentation listed with a quantity next to it now.
Okay, okay. Was documentation seized from the Lost Clubhouse?
Yes.
Okay.
Damn.
Were you present at the time this warrant was executed?
Actually.
Negative. I was not present. I had diarrhea.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Oh, that's why he had to dip.
I was, however, present for the everything but the clubhouse, and the clubhouse came last. This was an
okay.
emergency exit for myself.
I was wondering why he had to do.
When you're searching for body parts, Senior Deputy Dark,
You expect to find them on paper?
Is it customary to read through every piece of paper you find in somebody's residence?
Negative is not customary, but body parts can include small things such as nails. And if we have to flick through pages to find such nails, then those documents may be
You don't need to read
in
the
plain view,
contents
and we may see illegal things
of
going
the
on
pages.
May see illegal things going through. On a quick flick through looking for nails or eyelashes, is that how you're saying they noticed the
There's
illegal nature of this document?
There's actual case law
I
about
obviously wasn't
looking
there.
for a serial
So I don't
on
know
a
whether
radio.
you want to still
Forget what it
to
was.
answer that question.
Okay, fair enough. I'll withdraw. It's outside of your personal knowledge. Were any of the witnesses that are currently present part of that search team?
Yes, Senior Detective Carl Pratt.
Senior Detective Pratt. Okay, that'll be the man I ask my questions to then. All right. How familiar are you with the People's Exhibits Tango Tango through Echo Echo Echo?
I'm pretty familiar. I've looked through them.
All right. I'd like to look at Exhibit Delta Delta Delta, which is encompassed in that scope there. In this exhibit, during the 47 pages that it is,
Yes.
is there any direct evidence of the sale of a firearm?
The evidence listed in this document gives possession.
It shows possession. Does it in any way indicate how that possession came to be? Whether it be through sale or other means.
A negative that's not listed in this document.
Okay. Are there any reports on evidence that you're aware of that indicate the sale of firearms?
Yes, in one of, I think it's in the range of evidence you suggested, there was indeed a listing of weapons sold.
Listing of weapons sold, okay.
With an amount of money next to it. I believe it was 90,000, which could in fact be 20 heavy pistols, given they were listed at $4,500 a piece.
All right, give me just one moment to catch up on my paperwork here. All right, referring to the People's X-ray. Let me know once you're there, Senior Deputy.
Yes, a firm X-ray.
All right, on this list, we have knuckle dusters being sold for $1,500. Is that right?
Yes.
In your professional opinion, as a senior deputy of the BCSO, are knuckle dusters a weapon?
As a senior deputy, yes, knuckle dusters may be used as a weapon.
May be used as a weapon. Okay. In that transaction you're referring to, does it specify what sorts of weapons were sold allegedly?
No, to the best of my recollection, it does not.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Let me see.
Holy shit.
Outside of the arrest reports for the four specific defendants, including Kaya Moore, Wade Wilson, and so on, who were located down at the smelting factory, is there any evidence on the record of transportation of firearms in this case?
You'd better ask those questions to the officer who was present, which was Dominic Toretti.
Better to ask for Dominic Toretti. Okay. All right. So to your knowledge, there's no evidence on the record outside of those four particular individuals who transported more than 5 firearms whatsoever.
Are you asking about the whole of the lost MC or the people present today?
Yes, the individuals present today.
Just give me a moment.
just fucking unloading that gun, fucking shell by shell.
Given the events that occurred on October 16th and 17th, in my professional opinion, yes, there is evidence to say that the Lost MC did transport weapons.
Okay. Were the lost
Man, this is
MC
great,
the
dude.
individuals who were transporting those weapons personally?
Yes.
Oh, they were. Okay. That's more than we got last go around. Would that be on the 16th or the 17th, or would that be on the 19th?
The 16th and the 17th, when the weapons crates were removed from aircrafts.
The 16th and
People
17th.
with
The day
lost
that I
hats
can't
on,
ask
actually.
anybody about because no one was there. All right. Okay. And once again, just to hammer the point home, were any heavy pistols intercepted during the operation that occurred on the 16th, 17th, and 19th of October, other than the ones that were wielded by the 4 members of the Lost?
Negative.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions for Senior Deputy Dark. My 2 co-counsel behind me may have a few.
Very well.
Have you seen where this is going yet, Reed?
I want to suck his penis.
He's gonna say that we're
What
good.
you guys got anything?
I'll allow it.
Oh no, I
mean,
wouldn't want to make
the
it
proper
awkward.
question is, did you miss anything?
Let's go back in evidence that was brought up. Evidence V. You said that there was 2 heavy pistols that were found on the receipt. Is that correct?
Just to clarify, that was Victor.
Yeah. Was it 2 or 3? You can tell me exactly how many you can. Clarify for the court.
You didn't mention
Just 1 second.
The receipt is whiskey, not Victor.
Yeah, whiskey.
There was going to be 2 heavy pistols and 3 AP pistols, 1 sawn-off shotgun, and 2 SNS pistols.
Let's do with the heavies, because that's what was brought up originally. Because there seems to be a lot of emphasis on heavies.
Yeah, 2.
Did those heavies have symbols on them?
Yes.
What symbols were they?
Give me 1 second.
Ready?
Probably mine and cats.
Don't be an X. Don't be an X. Don't be an X. Don't be an X.
Why do you have a fucking
The evidence isn't listed of the specific symbols, but there was symbols on them. To the best of my recollection, it was the heartbeat symbol, which comes back to on evidence CCC to being Lucille Hellman.
Allegedly.
Okay, and whose property was that?
Give me 1 second.
Mine.
Yeah, whose probably was that?
Mine.
It's going to be Paddy Patrickson.
Were there other weapons found?
Oh, yes.
What else was found in that receipt?
2 SNS pistols, 1 sawn-off shotgun, 3 AP pistols, along with 2 heavy pistols, 1 micro SMG, 1 Tech 9, and 2 standard ammunition sold pistols.
Hi, Patty.
Literally, I sublet the place.
And are
to Ron,
those
not my
considered
place.
under the statute of weapon trafficking?
Yes.
There's a lot of talk in the questioning about you and heavy pistols, or the case revolving around heavy pistols. And I believe you answered this earlier in the original questioning, but I want to make sure it's answered here because it's still in the scope. Did your research evolve around heavy pistols under your investigation?
Heavy pistols was the kind of, I guess you call it like the line in. That was kind of the.
Just a simple yes or no.
Can you re-answer the question?
Did your investigation mostly evolve around heavy pistols? And your
it's just
research?
possession.
Yes.
Okay. Did you submit these search warrants?
Some of them. I did all of the phone search warrants.
I'm talking about the ones in particular that were mentioned that were looking for manufacturing.
It's all the ammo.
You have to give me a moment. I can't remember exactly which ones I did and which ones I didn't do.
I'm going to object as to outside of the personal knowledge of the witness in that case. I think this
Very
court
well.
is more than capable of reviewing the warrants and seeing who applied for
Very
them.
well. I'll withdraw that.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Real quick, were there other officers that wrote some of these warrants?
Yes.
So if your research was based on heavy, would it make sense that other officers would have a bigger scope, maybe?
Yes.
No further questions.
That's it.
Wait, hold on.
Yep,
Crank, step back.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
My counsel's here. They have questions.
Yep.
Huh. I mean,
All right, Mr. Doc, in your personal opinion, given that, as was mentioned in your testimony, Mr. Dankleaf was trying to build himself a Ryan 2.0. Is it feasible he could have also been making a list of parts acquired and parts he was seeking?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, that's reaching.
that would depend on what's on the actual warrant.
Okay.
Especially
got
that
one
you
more
store that
question.
in the
Sorry about that.
clubhouse.
They were talking about your expertise earlier with executing search warrants and checking your credentials of your job and what you look for and what you don't look for. So pertaining to that, we're looking for body parts. Would you limit the search to just anything you can see with your own eyes?
No, a body parts, like I said, could be as small as a fingernail, so we need to search every place a fingernail could be. That includes filing cabinets.
So you would say null and void would be pretty... I mean, you'd say plain view would be pretty null and void.
Yes.
No other questions.
All right. Let me see here. I'm just gonna really. We're gonna boil this all down. All of those Class 2 weapons that were found in the raid. Was there any evidence that those have been transported in quantities of 5 or more?
Negative.
Was there any evidence of sale of those?
Negative, just possession.
Just possession. Okay. Was there any evidence of intent to sell any of those?
Nothing found in the properties.
What quality were these all found in pristine quality? Were they very well taken care of?
The quality varied.
Varied. Were some of them just completely and utterly unusable, firing pins broken and such?
Yes.
Okay.
Objection. I believe there's a case law entered in that says the relevance of the quality of weaponry doesn't matter on the outcome of their
Well, that's the charge.
of their stature in any case.
Are you telling me if I have a fucking pirate cannon that doesn't matter?
Rebuttal, Your Honor. I would say that case law is inapplicable here, given that we are looking at weapons trafficking and not simple possession charges. Interestingly enough, none of the defendants outside of the 4 who were apprehended at the smelting factory are actually facing any possession charges, despite their properties being raided and these items being found. We are looking at gun trafficking, and I would venture to say nobody's going to buy a broken-ass gun.
My rebuttal to that would be that I would agree with the defense on that if they haven't put emphasis that the them having the items themselves was possession and not trafficking as it sits. So being that those emphasis has been put on that, then I think it absolutely is applicable.
Anything he's saying making sense?
I'm going to agree with the defense. I'm overruling you at this time. I think in this instance, because we have focused on the manufacture and sale of these weapons, that weapons that were found and their what's the word I'm looking for? How well they've been kept, their status at that time should be taken into consideration with the appropriate level of weight. So you're going to be overruled at this time.
Okay.
Witness will
Understood.
answer.
Your Honor, I believe he already answered.
All right.
Okay, any of the Class 2 weaponry that was found that was just gone over by the prosecution, did any of that bear the markings referred to in the People's Charlie, Charlie, Charlie?
Negative. None of the Class 2 weapons had markings on them.
Not a single one, okay. All right, let me look at my notes real quick.
What it does say, Reed, is thank fuck he's on our side and not there.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. Because if he was
All
on
right.
their
I
side,
have nothing further for the witness.
Do you think
Your
he's wearing red for us?
I thought about it. Yeah.
All right.
I like him.
Anything else from the defense team?
Just one moment, Your Honor.
All right.
Ryan, what do you think our odds are?
Good.
Slim? I'd say slim, but I was expecting none walking into this, so slim is good. I think your odds are good. But I've
My odds are
upgraded
great.
I've upgraded my odds to slim. Maybe I won't get life until Monday. What you mean?
Oh my god.
Delayed life sentence.
Just one quick question as well. Any of the Class 1 weaponry outside of the heavy pistols we already talked about, the illegally possessed ammunition, firearms, or otherwise, did any of those bear the markings referred to in the People's Charlie, Charlie, Charlie?
I can't remember exactly what weapons were found, but 9mm, which we found, would have also had those markings on them.
Okay. So 9mm that were found, they weren't registered to any police officers. They did bear those markings.
Yes.
Okay. But you're unsure of how many 9mm were found.
Correct.
Okay. Were 9mm found in any quantity greater than 5 in any individual residence?
But I don't know.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Does that conclude? Ms. Parker, were you coming
That's what
up?
true love feels like.
No, Your Honor. Sorry.
All right. Okay, Senior Deputy, you may step down.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dog ass rat.
Piss off.
Defense,
Oh my
be prepared to
god.
call your next witness.
One moment, Your Honor.
Very well.
Your Honor, actually, at this time, we have no further witnesses. We're ready for closing. The defense rests.
Fuck. Okay.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
It's going to be an interesting case. The outcome's going to be
I'm stretched, boys.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. I'm gonna give everybody a 10-minute recess to prepare their closing.
So I'm good to go then.
Yes, get out of here.
Sorry about that.
Oh, fuck
I'm
you,
fucking
Crane.
stretched.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, fuck you too, you drunk bitch.
We have shown here today the Lost MC as a whole, and these defendants in particular: Rudy Benson, Reed Dinkley, Holden Malou, Gary Adams, Taryn Wright, Patty Patrickson, Cherry Devine, Gaz Malou, Lucille Hellman, Al Weaselton, Jason Paul, Wade Wilson, Ryan Parker, Kia Moore, and Dale Murphy have all been involved in the ongoing manufacture and distribution of
Liar.
weaponry and should therefore be found guilty of weapons trafficking. Additionally, Wade Wilson, Kia Moore, Jason Paul, and Dale Murphy were all directly involved in attempting to destroy evidence that could have been presented before this court, and as such should be found guilty of witness tampering. The investigation into this operation has been ongoing for the last 4 months. In October, police personally witnessed multiple large crates being offloaded by the Lost MC. The Lost MC at that time were in full uniform, with vans marked with their own logos. These
don't have a
weapons were
uniform.
transported from various
We're not the lunatics.
airports in Los Santos before being taken to a secondary location that was again being guarded by the Lost MC. Officers directly bought a trunk full of weaponry from the Lost MC for the amount of $1.6 million.
Yeah, it's full
The
of
Lost
pipe bombs.
MC compound was raided because upon his arrest, Reed made a comment openly that they would never find where the body parts he had stashed was hidden. Upon that raid,
Oh, nice one.
evidence was found
What?
that
They
confirmed
found the body
what officers
parts.
had long believed. Even though a large amount of weaponry was not found in the compound at that time, there were 134 gold bars, 368 watches, and it is detailed in the People's Umbrella that gold bars are a necessary component for crafting heavy pistols.
Your Honor, briefly, I have an objection to assert to something that was stated earlier as to purchasing weapons directly from the Lost MC as misstatement of evidence. It's going to be misstatement of evidence and or misstatement of testimony, however you'd like
Your
to
Honor, in
classify
People's
it.
RRR, it specifically states that troopers Snow and Copper bought a trunk full of weaponry from the Lost MC.
It specifically says the money was handed over and 205 was given the chance to open a crate. It does not state who the money was handed over to, whether it was these alleged members of the Lost MC or other individuals.
I'll
on
be back.
scene. Further witness testimony from Richard Dark indicated that he personally did not witness any direct handling of money or of weaponry by the Lost MC.
I'm going to sustain that objection at this time, and but yes, I'm going to sustain the objection.
gonna fuck her
at
flow.
This time. Go ahead and continue with the closing.
Even though a large amount of weaponry is not found in the compound at the time that it was raided and was not found in their personal abodes, there were found 134 gold bars, as well as 3,268 watches. It is detailed in People's UU umbrella that gold bars are a necessary component for crafting heavy pistols. There was also found large amounts of copper, steel, and glass, which are the materials that are
Pretty sure
stated
we
in
will load.
UU as being used to manufacture 9mm pistols. There was a bench for crafting weaponry, complete with molds and templates, manuals detailing how to make these pistols, and the equipment to do so. There were records of sale and direct references to manufacture and sale of weaponry, which were all recovered during that raid, including the People's VV Victor, which mentions several individuals who had placed regular orders, including Harvey Normandy, who pled guilty to weapons trafficking and was found at that time with weapons that trace back to the Lost MC. The HOA is also mentioned as placing regular orders, and Julio Thomas is specifically mentioned in DDD, David, as being arrested with one of the pistols that trace back to the Lost MC on his possession. Flippy, also known as Juan Carlos Hernandez, another frequent customer, according to Victor, is also specifically mentioned in David. This documentation, in combination with the testimony we've heard today from officers, combines to create overwhelming evidence that the Lost MC as a whole have been involved in an ongoing operation to create and distribute weapons and must at this time be found guilty of weapons trafficking.
Not enough evidence.
No, thank you. I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah.
Yawn.
Look, I'm not gonna read you out a pre-made pamphlet or a note or a long-wind book or anything like that. I'm just gonna tell you the facts.
Not prepared by
The facts are these. To have a burden of proof, we don't need any witnesses here, because all of our witnesses are just investigators. All of our evidence is on the docket. It's all there. If you go to the store and you want to return something, they ask for the receipt. We have the receipts.
Your Honor, can I assert an unusual objection to this line by the prosecution?
All right.
If the court would entertain it, this entire line essentially asserts that my clients do not have the Sixth Amendment right to face their accusers in court, which is ludicrous coming from someone who's supposed to be not only a prosecutor, but a sitting judge of this court.
Their accuser is the state. We're right here.
All right. I understand what you're getting at, but at the same time, I think that the prosecution here is making a play on words, in such that he believes that the documentation alone would have been enough to convict.
Maybe you should
Understood, Your Honor.
So I understand your objection. I'm going to consider it. Like I said, I'll ruminate on it. But like I also believe that I understand the intent of that line from the prosecutor at this time. So yes, continue.
You know, just we have all the evidence there. All the evidence is given. No one's testimony means absolutely anything because it wasn't really needed. If you were to go and buy drugs off the street and they were to be stamped with a drug label like ecstasy, who would you think it came from? Well, in this case, these individuals with these weapons, they stamped their own brand on their own weapons that were found throughout the city with evidence of that inside that court docket. So why would we need to have witnesses come up here and explain anything when all the utensils, right, everything needed to make this whole operation happen is all there in the evidence? They manufactured, they branded,
pencils.
they kept imprints of guns and the receipts of all their transactions, along with the individuals who they did do transactions with admitting to these. And to make that even worse, they had their own brands stamped on the illegal items. Do we need to say anything else?
A fucking
It's all
property
there.
always leaves a signature.
Prove it.
Raid, we
Prove
should
it.
stamp our meth.
Ooh.
No.
All
No.
right. Do we start the timer as he's walking up or when he starts talking?
Who's the addresses?
Let's start it with the thank you, Your Honor part.
All right. You ready with the clock?
Has everyone eaten? Do we? I don't want to have to take a lunch break.
You may begin.
You may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor, and may it please the people of the court. Today, this court has seen a demonstration of an overly zealous police department coupled together with a district attorney's office seeking to prove convictions rather than uphold the law, leading to a haphazard case based upon the wants and the desires of the individual officers and attorneys leading this case rather than the spirit or letter of our law. Ambitions and careers that are outweighing the duties and oaths actually attached to these individuals. First, the defense pleads this court to rule in favor of the defendants in this case on the basis of a constitutional violation, which has been made very clear herein. On December 27th, 2020, this court issued a warrant for Mountain View Drive 2 and the Lost Motorcycle Clubhouse. The probable cause of that warrant extended to body parts being searched for in relation to another case. Namely, the police had received reports of larger body parts and organs being taken from individuals and wished to raid that property and the properties of the defendant Reed Dankleaf. As referred to in the People v. Reed Dankleaf, these body parts included arms, pancreases, and other large vital organs. The statement of probable cause indicated that Mr. Dankleaf had allegedly, quote, been harvesting body parts for some time in an attempt to build a surrogate husband. This is a subject that I will tread very carefully, Your Honor, because I do understand the special circumstances with which we are faced. However, this case requires that this court re-examine the meaning of plain view, plain sight, or plain touch in the state of San Andreas. Police, supposedly looking for body parts on December 27th, 2020, proceeded to enter the premises of the Lost Motorcycle Club and seize any and everything in sight, anything that was not nailed down, and items that they now rely upon in this court case. Specifically, while allegedly looking for body parts, the Unified Police Department seized records associated with the Lost Motorcycle Club and their associated businesses. Unfortunately, the individuals who executed this warrant are not directly present and so cannot be questioned as to how it was supposedly determined that these records should or would be seized. While the defense does not contest that the police, for reasons obvious to this court, may seize any and all obviously illegal or illicit items found during the execution of a search and seizure warrant, the defense maintains that items must, on their face, present such an illegal appearance. Even had these records been in plain view when entering the premises, even had there been a binder sitting on a table, on a search for body parts, there is nothing in relation to the contour, the mass, the shape, the general appearance of a stack of papers, a book, a binder, or any such item which would render these items to be illegal on their face. Nevertheless, officers began to dig through these papers and read them in detail, treading beyond the scope of this warrant that they applied for without the consent of this court and against the reasonable expectation of privacy held by the defendants in this case.
Makes a very valid point.
And there you have it, an overly zealous police department trampling over the boundaries set by the Constitution and set by this court. Next, we're going to turn to the prosecution.
I think that's checkmate right
Today,
there.
the prosecution seeks to press the charge of weapons trafficking. But I don't think they've read that charge, Your Honor. The definition of weapons trafficking in this state says that the unlawful transportation of a large quantity of Class 1, Class 2, Class 3 firearms, Molotov cocktails, and or rocket-propelled grenade launchers with the intent to distribute them. It goes on to state that intent to distribute may be inferred through the circumstances surrounding the discovery of the firearms, a pattern of behavior, large sums of money, or finding a quantity of 6 or more firearms. Very simply, the statute can be broken down into 2 items: transportation, intent to distribute. The prosecution has proved neither of these elements. Beginning with transportation, the only potential transportation even attempted to be demonstrated by the prosecution today was the transportation of a quantity of weapons from one unknown location to a smelting factory for the purposes, obviously, of destruction. These weapons were found in various states of disassembly, some having been fully destroyed or even melted.
They're arguing intent to
Outside of this
distribute.
one incident involving only 4 of the 16 defendants, no demonstration of transportation of these firearms has been made apparent on this record today.
Wait, is it one or the other? I don't
Now,
know. Hold on.
let's look at intent to distribute. It is important to remember that today, the defendants are accused of trafficking specifically heavy pistols, not firearms generally. Raids were performed on 8 of the 16 defendants before this court today, and even on their personal properties and
See,
properties
unlawful
owned
transportation
jointly by
with the
Lost
intent to
Motorcycle
distribute.
Club.
If
Heavy
they're
pistols were
destroying
only
it, there is
found
no
on
intent to
2
distribute
properties,
there.
those of Gaz Malou and Patty Patrickson. 1 heavy pistol was found in Gaz's property, 2 were found in Patty's. Combined, this does not even add up to the 6 firearms which would generally be required for a per se intent to distribute. The prosecution relies upon the record keeping to allege that there were more
Yep,
heavy
it is
pistols
weapon
which
trafficking.
hypothetically could have been found in subsequent raids in
Correct.
unknown locations.
But
However,
you
these
don't
raids were not
point that out
performed.
when your
Orders were
argument
not
is they
kicked in,
weren't doing
despite
it.
this investigation ongoing for a total of 10 days and all suspects being in custody. It is wholesale inappropriate to speculate as to what may or may not have been found in other properties without evidence being presented directly to this court. What is important, however, is on the raids that the prosecution and the Unified Police Department found to be worthwhile to perform, only 3 pistols were located. Looking at the prosecution's other efforts, 14 records were submitted for the phone records of the, or 14 warrants, excuse me, were submitted for the phone records of the defendants. Only 3 were worthy of executing. Rudy Renson, Gaz Malou, Lucille Hellman. No evidence was found. No evidence was presented to this court. The People's Exhibits B through G and the People K through QQ, 28 exhibits, can be summarized as follows. The only evidence which was procured were 3 heavy pistols. It is clear that the people's tactic was to overwhelm both the defendant and this court with an
did you just do?
overabundance of documentation and exhibits, hoping that it would not be noticed and hoping that it would not appear as though this was hoping that it would appear that this was some masterclass investigation resulting in mountains of paperwork and mountains of evidence. The prosecution has instead done the opposite. They have proven that despite approximately 20 warrants being issued through this case, virtually nothing supporting their case was uncovered. Now, looking at the documentation that was uncovered in the illegal search and seizure of the records pertaining to the Lost Motorcycle Club, the prosecution relies very heavily upon the markings found in the illegal search and seizure performed on Reed Dankleaf. The People's TT.
Your Honor,
for ZZ.
objection to his calling it an illegal search and seizure.
So the judge should decide.
I would reference back to the first approximate 2 minutes of my opening in which I defined that, and that is how I continue to use it.
All right, I've heard the objection. Continue.
The People's
Oh,
TT
that's a
through
good
ZZ
sign.
are representative of the documents relied upon heavily by the prosecution. At best, the People's TT, Tango Tango, shows the alleged possession of illegal items, and by none of the defendants in particular. The prosecution has not bothered to produce the actual contents of this quote-unquote beach house that is alleged in TT, which they seek to allege carried 7 heavy pistols, 1 over the statutory limitation. Hardly enough to show trafficking, even if the weapons were in transport at such a time as they were found. The prosecution cannot hang its conviction simply on a hypothetical. The People's UU and XX, again uncovered in this search of the Lost Motorcycle Club, shows a pricing guideline, including a price for certain Class 1 firearms. The people ask this court to presume, then, that despite the other multitude of legal items which were sold within this pricing guideline, that the defendants, all of the defendants, together, must have been selling heavy pistols in large quantities. This is despite the multitude of legal items listed for sale within the same document, including handcuffs, knuckle dusters, lockpicks, nitrous, advanced lockpicks, and other items. The People's Victor shows a list of nondescript sales made, sales for large quantities of money, which could have been anything from large quantities of NOS, handcuffs, armor, electronic kits, thermite, or other perfectly legal goods. We have no evidence, and we've heard no testimony showing what the contents of these sales were. The people simply ask you to assume that it must be what they say it is. The People's Delta shows that others, over the course of months, as well as members of the
Yeah,
Lost
if he's
Motorcycle
streaming,
Club, have been
please
found in
shout
possession
him
of
out. Dude,
weapons
he's fucking
bearing the marks
insane.
of these firearms. This shows, as Deputy Dark testified on the stand, the possession of these firearms. It shows that firearms bearing these marks have found their way into the possession of others. What it does not show is that these firearms were transported. What it does not show is that these firearms were sold. It doesn't show that they were purchased rather than stolen, and it does not show that these firearms were willfully distributed in any way. The prosecution attempts to rope in through exhibits RRR through VVV a past incident that's been alleged. An incident in which no direct witnesses were examinable or saw members of the Lost Motorcycle Club directly handle any firearms. Never saw the members of the Lost Motorcycle directly handle any cash related to this
I want to
incident.
make something very clear, chat.
An incident for which the defendants
Doesn't matter
were
what
let free
side
from
you agree
Bolingbroke
with.
State Penitentiary with their charges
If you have nothing nice to
dropped.
say, don't say it at all.
And
And if you say it in other
importantly,
people's
through
channels,
the
even if it's
reports,
not here,
only show that
you'll get
members of the
banned
Lost
here. It's
Motorcycle
very
Club,
simple.
unclear whether of the Los Santos
Don't be
chapter,
toxic,
the
chat.
German chapter, or simply imposters wearing cuts, were serving merely as hired muscle at a location. A situation which is in no way
I feel like I
related
actually
to
need
the
to pay him
allegation
real
my
money, you
clients
know
are
what I
on
mean?
trial for today.
Uh-huh.
The prosecution
Yeah,
asks this
is he
court to
on a
look at
IRL
all of this
retainer?
evidence
Right?
and string it all together
gonna
to
get a bill
imagine
on
a
my
situation in
PayPal?
which the sale of illegal firearms took place. And the prosecution asks this court to ignore all of the shortcomings we just talked about, to ignore any other reasonable possibility and every other reasonable doubt which exists within their fantasy of a narrative. The simple fact is, despite 65 exhibits, the prosecution is not able to point to a single instance with any certainty in which any of the 16 individuals on charge today actually sold a firearm. Even were these defendants on trial for the criminal sale of a Class 1 firearm, the prosecution would not be able to point to any specific instance or any specific defendant with any certainty to prove that any of those sales occurred. The people attempt through Exhibit Delta to infer, my apologies, to infer
this man
rather
some
than
water.
actually prove the sale of these firearms. We have heard the testimony of Officer Kyle Pratt about the tactical prowess and capability or lack thereof of my clients. Individuals who very well could have put themselves into harm's way and had their weapons stolen off their person. Individuals probably dumb enough to leave their weapon in an unlocked car. Weapons
Oh,
which
I am
may
dumb.
have found their way into the hands of other individuals through countless
Damn.
means. Yet we are asked to imagine that it is only the one circumstance that the prosecution asks us to believe. In summary, this case is nothing more than a house of cards built by an overly eager officer who denied the constitutional rights of the defendant. Officers who applied for search warrants and raided properties of the defendants and found virtually nothing, as proven by the prosecution's own evidence. Documentation unable to be supported through witness testimony, as prior alleged incidents in violation of my client's Sixth Amendment rights to face their accusers in court today. This is a case sought to be presented by an overly eager district attorney who does not seem to understand the difference between a story that they can spin from many pieces of paper and many cloths and the burden that they bear, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. The only thing that is beyond a reasonable doubt in this case is that the district attorney and the police are operating off of a hunch with illegally obtained evidence and no actual proof as to the transportation or sale of firearms as to any specific individual they've brought these charges against. Because the prosecution cannot prove a single instance and affirmatively say that a single firearm has been sold or transported by any of these defendants, much less all of these defendants as a whole. This court ought to find in favor of the defendants. Thank you.
I want to fuck.
Holy
so much.
shit!
I really do.
I
That was
literally
beautiful.
teared freedom
all
during
right,
that.
Well done.
Yep.
My dick
let
is
it
so hard
heretofore
right
be
now.
known that Crane is now the holder of most long-winded attorney in all of the island.
Thank God.
All right.
Been bearing that cross for way too long.
All right, I'm placing this court into an extended recess. Everybody is free to roam about, step outside, do what they will. I am going to hey, Ryan.
Sorry, Your Majesty, he was on fire. I need to give him some water.
All right, go on. I'm going to politely ask everybody to refrain from unnecessary shenanigans, such as beating up and or incapacitating my bailiffs or members of the DOJ or Toretti, no matter how lippy he gets.
I promises, Your Honor.
No, there's gonna be there's gonna be promises,
behave.
or I'm just gonna have you put in the cells at MRPD while we wait.
She will behave, Your Honor.
Your Honor, could we put Toretti in the corner or something then, please?
She will behave, Your Honor.
Thank you, Rudy.
Put you in the corner.
Behave or I'll cut off your
Because I have
head.
heard it from Mr. Rinson, I expect that everybody will follow his word.
Behave, guys.
And I appreciate that, Mr. Rinson. Thank you. Everybody is free to mill about. If you wish to remain in here and talk amongst yourselves, that is fine. Keep your voices low. Do not be shouting. Myself and the other justice have a lot to go through. I do not expect that we're going to be coming back quickly. This is probably going to take us some time. Thank you for your patience. Somebody bring me and Dennis some damn cheeseburgers. And this court is now in recess.
Brothers. Oh, fuck you.
All right, we're going to do this. I'm going to address the items that are not. Basically, I want to address everything except the weapons trafficking charge, because we have some folks that have other charges. So we're going to address those first, and then we're going to address the weapons trafficking charge for each defendant. Yes.
What are you doing?
Your Honor, just to make you aware, Jason Paul had to leave.
That's fine. We'll render judgment on Jason Paul in his absence. That is fine.
That's a little psychotic, if you ask me.
Yeah, he is.
I see what you did there.
Nice. I don't get it.
Right? Mayhem.
All right. 4 defendants: Jason Paul, Wade Wilson, Kia Moore, and Dale Murphy. On the 6 counts of criminal possession of a firearm class 1, this court finds you guilty. On the 23 counts of criminal possession of a firearm class 2, this court finds you guilty. And on the single count of attempted murder of a government employee, this court finds you guilty. And on the single count of witness tampering, this court finds you guilty.
Damn.
Now, as to the charge of weapons trafficking for all defendants, it is the opinion of this court that manufacture
That's
of
to
a
be
weapon
expected, though, with how it's written.
is an element that can go to proving the overall crime of weapons trafficking. But this court would also need to see some secondary element, some form of sale, some form of transportation to reinforce that. What we could have here is building for personal usage, which, while the weapon is still illegal, does not weapons trafficking make. This court did not see proof beyond a reasonable doubt that there was any afterward sale or that there was any afterward trafficking. The events of the 16th and 17th, while useful, were not able to be
cross-examined by the defense, and so therefore should not be considered in the overall charge, especially a charge as heavy as weapons trafficking. Because of
Chat, I got
that,
goosebumps.
at this time, for the defendants that are here today, as well as Mr. Jason Paul.
Oh, and the other two, they had to go to sleep.
And the other two that had to go to sleep. Right. So basically everybody except Ms. Scratch. For the defendants that appeared in court today.
We're gonna pay Crane $1 million.
At this
to get
time,
that?
we find you not guilty of weapons trafficking.
Yes!
Holy shit.
Holy shit! Yes!
Holy shit.
Crane, you are a fucking magician. I love you.
We did it.
I would.
No outburst.
Sorry.
Apologies.
We will, as far as sentencing for the individuals that are on all these other charges, we are sentencing them to time served.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The holds for that secondary case will remain in place. Miss Scratch will continue to be held at where is she at Parsons until such time as she is deemed fit to stand trial. At
most of us
which
are in prison.
point, new trial will be scheduled with Miss Scratch as the sole defendant.
So, Your Honor, can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Just to make it simplify for a simple man like me that did nothing wrong in the past. Does that mean I am free to go?
You will be free to go, yes. Miss Scratch will stand trial. None of the decisions rendered today will impact the trial of Miss Scratch for weapons trafficking.
They're just going to rehash everything.
The district attorney and the PD are free to continue building the case against Miss Scratch.
Your Majesties, I have a question.
Can I have my weapons license back?
Yeah, wait, Toretti took my weapons license. I didn't even do anything. I didn't hurt anyone.
Money in the safe. Money in the safe.
Your Honor, I have another
Can't
question.
issue weapons licenses here.
No, I know.
Exactly.
Today.
And I'm not going to reissue weapons licenses.
No, that was
just because you got found not guilty of weapons trafficking doesn't mean that all those weapons that were found, a bunch of those weapons that were found amongst the co-owned properties, were not illegal weapons.
Your Honor, that was just a cheeky jab from my side.
Don't push it.
I just have another question that is actually really important for the club, not for me, but for the club and for the club in its whole. Yes, the seized money from the safe down your stairs. What will happen? What will happen to that
materials?
Your bank accounts were
And
frozen.
my materials, yeah.
All our money from the club account that was in the safe down your stairs got into evidence.
And the materials for Lucy's legal mechanics business.
Which are probably all now rotted away.
Well, the fact that they're rotted away
You guys
isn't my
are walking
problem.
out of here and you guys are crying about some materials.
Exactly. You're
I
can't walk and
listen, I can't crap you a bunch of materials, okay?
I'm not.
There was 900,000 and some dollars found in the safe on club property. That's what he's referring to.
$997,000 and a couple of spare cents.
For all that?
I mean, they fucking took it.
Yeah, it's in the people's evidence.
They took it all. Just making sure that you got a receipt that they took that, okay?
If you can, when the receipt is provided, this court will ensure that that money is returned to the Lost MC's, we'll call it club account.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, hold on.
Just start nailing you with questions.
Exactly,
Right
it's just
They
questions.
Can't even wait.
All right, very well.
I just needed. Oh, sorry.
What about the gold bars?
Apologies, Your Majesty.
Let's
At this time, just leave it. Court is adjourned. Defendants here are free to go.
Fuck yeah. Lost forever,
That is it
forever
for
lost.
Reed.
Forever,
Except for Reed, who will be going back to the clink.
Oh, shit, let her read.
I gotta hand it to you, Crane.
Bye, Reed.
Can I
bailed
apply
my
for
ass
bail
out.
for like
Oh,
a day?
I believe today.
What's that,
All
Doc?
right.
I smell freedom, baby. Hold on, I want to see if I can get bail.
LFFL.